kissing a man without a beard is like eating your chips without salt and vinegar.
After hours football debate for poachers, private eyes.
Could I ask you something personal?
And pole dancers.
I'm not in market for business, love.
Mike Graham's been all three at some point in his career.
Oh, really, you great big sweaty bush idiot?
And I'll tell you what, you were a better pole dancer than presenter, I can tell you that.
The Two Mikes on Talk Sport.
Look at the light!
Hello, how are you today? Yeah. It's complete madness, you know. I would advise anybody not to bother turning it on because it plays with your head.
Yeah.
It's just drivel.
Hello, I'm Looney. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes, and I'm delighted to say, time to say a very warm welcome to Mr. Mike Porky Parry. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
And do you really think that I should be expected to treat you in a civilised fashion after the most pathetic opener to a show I've ever heard in the history of broadcasting?
What's pathetic about it?
Do you really think our millions of listeners give a flying fig about the winners and losers, a tiny little feature we do once a week?
It's a tiny little feature.
Tiny little feature we do once a week. The outcome is irrelevant.
Okay.
It's a bit of fun for a few hundred people to get indulged in, and that's about it. I mean, it means nothing. Yeah. You know? Have you ever heard of the Shakespeare expression, sound and fury signifying nothing?
Yes.
That's a quote from Macbeth. You wouldn't know that because you're so thick, you probably can't even spell Shakespeare.
And you're a little bit upset at the result.
I'm not upset at the result at all. Right. The result is irrelevant, and our listeners don't even want to know about it.
So since you don't care very much about it, why would it be that you sent out approximately 8 pleas for people to vote for you throughout the course of the day?
Not at all.
Here's one from, let's see, where can we find the time on this one?
No, you can't find it, so you're making it all up.
I've got them all here. Look, I've got 6 in a row. 6 in a row. Here's one. It's obvious gerrymander old MG lined up a load of stooges for an early lead in winners and losers. Now Porky's tribe must fight back. The next one. Yes. To the Porky tribe, I say rise up and crush the evil of old MG's gerrymandering plot.
Yes.
We will retake winners and losers.
Yes.
3 minutes later, let's evoke the spirit of Nelson's Navy to fight old MG. Go out to the streets and press gang people to vote Porky.
Yes.
And then it's another part of old MG's evil plot to delay the podcast so you can't vote for me in winners and losers.
Yes.
He'll sink to any level.
Yes.
That's just 4 messages that you sent out in the space of half an hour.
Look, the most important story we need to get on to tonight is Ronaldo, OK? Without a shadow of a doubt,
so you don't want
Ronaldo.
to talk about winners and losers then?
What's there to talk about?
Well, you normally ask me for the result, so I was going to give you the result
Nobody
in full.
cares about the result. Nobody wants to know.
I think because let me read you a few of the reactions of the of the listeners.
How long are you going to bore the audience with this load of drivel?
Lord Rallo says this. It looks like the world is right again, and old Porky is getting a proper beatdown in winners and losers. Rodney says, I try to vote Porky, vote often, but this week MG blew Parry out of the water.
What?
Especially his losers. Laura says, brilliant winners and losers this week, MG. Mike Parry let his Porky tribe down.
What?
So basically they're just saying that yours were terrible.
Well, it's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. And I don't know how people can take it so seriously. What a tin pot competition it is. It really
I don't know
is.
why people take it so seriously.
Now then.
Anyway, it's 1,660 votes cast, 58% to me, 42% to you.
Well, it wasn't much of a gap anyway, was it really? But I'm not even interested in talking about that. You know, I mean, who's leading in the table?
It's now 4-3 to you.
4-3 to me. Yes. Okay. And do I sit here boasting about that?
No, not when you're lost.
Of course I don't. Of course I don't sit here boasting about that. I want to talk about Ronaldo.
Yeah, go on then.
Because again, I have a particular issue to make with you about this. You're walking around the office tonight. You're telling the hundreds of people out there in the technical department,
hundreds of people
in the production department, in the tech-phobe department, all that kind of stuff.
Which department?
The tech-phobe, you know.
Tech-phobe?
Yeah.
Isn't that your department?
No.
Tech-phobe?
No. And what you're telling them is you're saying, you see the Ronaldo stuff, he's had his ego pricked a little bit by the fact that he was asked a question in a press conference about why he hasn't scored an away goal since November.
Yeah.
And he's had his ego pricked a bit because he has been told, there's a story doing the rounds, that he wasn't very popular in the Manchester United dressing room.
Well, he says he didn't talk to anybody there.
And then you laugh your head off and you say, it reminds me of Porky. Everywhere I've worked with him, he hasn't been very popular.
That's true, yeah. That is true.
I mean, I find that despicable and disgraceful.
Well I thought you would like to be compared with Ronaldo, one of the greatest footballers that the game has ever seen.
I have due regard about my own individual talent.
Do you?
I will not disguise that, and I will not try and prevaricate on that.
No.
However, being isolated and distant from my work colleagues is a complete falsehood.
Did you see that picture that somebody posted on Twitter earlier on today of you at your Fleet Street reunion party?
No.
It was a picture of you sitting on your own.
No, I didn't.
In an empty room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he starts to make a picture, so I don't care too much for that one. All I'm saying is I admire Ronaldo for his individuality, for his ability to know his worth, for his ability to recognise his own skill.
Do you admire him for storming out the press conference?
Well, in a way, if they ask a provocative question like that, I think the boy has the very right to emotionally express his response. I mean...
Well, he's obviously got a nemesis, and his nemesis is Lionel Messi. It's a bit like you and me. You know, I'm if you're Ronaldo, I'm Lionel Messi.
No, you're not.
Every time you want to win the Ballon, every time you want to win the Ballon d'Or, I end up winning it. Every time he scores a goal, you get even more annoyed. Every time you score a goal, he scores a better one.
You're 3 Lionel Messis. You're at least the body weight and body mass of 3 Lionel Messi.
Well, that's one of the things that you got upset about. Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez and Neymar.
No, I don't think so. I think you don't understand. Ronaldo is such an individual and has such great self-belief that he lives on an island. Like me, I live on an island. That does not mean...
Why'd you live on an island?
That does not mean...
You don't live on an island.
Emotionally, I live on an island.
Emotionally?
And that does not
mean... finally you've admitted it.
What?
Finally you've admitted it.
No, an island of superiority, an island of superiority.
You live on an emotional island, quite right. But why have you got barbed wire all around it?
No, I haven't got any barbed wire around it. Now, what I'm trying to say here is, the point I'm trying to make is that, you see, you don't believe in yourself enough to be able to have the confidence that Ronaldo has in life, OK?
Is that right?
And therefore...
What gives you that idea?
And therefore...
What gives you that idea?
Because
No, sorry, I'm not going to have this kind of tin pot psychiatry foisted on me. Where'd you get that idea from?
Well, it's obvious.
You're the one that's unsure of yourself. You're the one that's constantly seeking the approval of others.
No, I never seek the approval of others.
You do all the time.
Whereas you have to know that you're liked around the office.
No, not at all.
That's why you go out drinking with minnows all the time, don't you?
No, people just genuinely like me because I'm a nice guy.
No,
they don't like you because you're not.
No, that's not true. That is
true.
That is
it's
completely
very true.
When you have enormous self-belief, when you are literally an individual talent, for want of a better word, life is hard. Have you had that expression?
Did you not send out a tweet over the weekend, for example, when I sent a tweet out saying, by the way, don't forget, you can still get tickets for the Manchester show at the Dance House on April the 9th?
Yes.
You sent out a tweet saying, it'd be better if MG didn't come.
Yes, that's
right. Because I assume you believe that, don't you?
No.
You think you'd be better off on your own?
No, that's
yes,
just
you
a
do
joke.
think that.
That's just a joke.
You do.
Have you heard that? You must have heard that old song by Chicago?
Chicago.
Or was it the Eagles, When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman?
Yeah. That's Dr. Hook.
Dr. Hook, that's right, Dr. Hook.
Neither or.
When you're in love with a beautiful woman, don't you know it's hard? Now, the same philosophy applies when you are something special. So those lyrics could read, when you know you are something special, don't you know it's hard?
Why are you moving your hands
like
Stevie Wonder, as if you're playing the piano?
I was kind of playing the piano there. And that's the very, very same psychological barrier that people have to get over. OK?
No, I don't understand what you mean.
Yes, you do understand what I mean. What I'm saying is...
What you're saying is you think you're so special and so brilliant...
No, I don't think that. No.
Basically, you don't care, what anybody thinks. You don't care that nobody likes you. You don't care that you spend your life on an emotional island. And you don't care that you have no friends.
No. Look, I've got as many friends as I want to have.
How many?
I'm not distant from anybody.
How many have you got?
I'm not getting into the ridiculous detail. I've got as many friends as I need.
Like who?
I don't...
Who?
Distant. What do you mean?
Who's your best friend?
Well, why should I discuss that with you?
Well, because you're telling me you've got as many friends as you want. So let's hear who they are.
No, most people's friends
get them on the show.
Are personal friends.
Let's get them on the show.
Yeah, they're personal friends.
Personal friends?
Yes, absolutely.
Like who?
I'm not getting into this.
Well,
just forget it.
Maybe I know them.
No,
maybe I could say whether or not they're friends of yours or not.
No, you don't know. You're not the sort of people that I'd want you to mix with.
Not the sort of people.
And I don't regard myself as isolationist. I don't regard myself as
just said
distant
you're an island.
from an island in the sense of I believe I know my own standing in life. I know my own standing in life.
And what is that? But you think your standing in life is extremely high, don't you?
I believe that everybody has a position in life.
Yes, and you think yours is quite high up.
I
know. Running for Parliament.
I know. You have to know exactly what the structure of the chromosomes of the society around you are to be able to exist within that comfort zone within your life.
But would you answer?
I would say I've got that equation pretty well.
Answer me this question.
Pretty well measured.
Would you say, in terms of the social strata of society, you have more people above you or below you?
Well, that's obvious.
Go on then. What's the answer?
I would say only about 1% of the rest of the world's above me.
Right. And you admire all of those people, don't you?
Well, I do, yes. I mean,
but everyone
high
else,
achievers.
But everyone else is beneath you.
No.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
You just said that.
No.
Everyone else is therefore beneath you.
No, rubbish. I like postmen. particularly when I hear them listening
You like
to
postmen?
the...
You don't like cleaners?
By the way, this happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Particularly when I hear them listen to the podcast,
Yeah.
the downloaded podcast of the Two Mike Show from the night before. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I love postmen, milkmen,
milkmen.
Policemen are good people,
Policemen.
firemen are good people, doctors, people who drive ambulances.
Yeah, but they're still beneath you, though, aren't
shopkeepers. No, not at all. They have a role in life, they have a position in life, and so do I.
Well, even if they don't own their own home?
That's irrelevant. They make their own choices in life. Look, you have to have a pecking order in life. Otherwise, we'd all be back on Animal Farm with George Orwell. All pigs are equal, but some pigs are equal or more equal than others.
Yes.
Okay?
Very true.
I don't want a society like that. I want a society based on social justice.
Do you?
And social justice dictates that special people like me do have a higher standing in the social pecking order than dumbcoffs.
And there you have it. The man of the people speaks. Lots more coming up from Porky next.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
I've not mentioned Celtic yet.
Thank God for that.
Steady.
This morning from 6
How do we put the show together? It's a miracle.
on Talk Sport.
Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman. Mr. Postman, whoa, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman. Whoa, yeah. There must be some word today from my boyfriend so far away.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes. Coming up in a little while, we've talked to Steve Lillywhite, Grammy Award-winning producer of U2 and the Psychedelic Furs. Big Chelsea fan. We'll find out how he thought the game went, of course. And we'll be doing some fat tips a little bit later on, or diet tips, I suppose I should say. Because there's a story knocking around that apparently fatter people have sort of different perceptions of the world around them. And if you can't, if you look at a sort of a hill, you think the hill's a lot bigger than it really is, and you don't want to walk up it.
There was a report in one of my health journals at the weekend, actually, which focused on this, and it said that really heavy people, when they see a flight of stairs, it strikes terror in their heart. Because to you...
they think it looks bigger than it actually is.
Well, to you and me, it looks like a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
To them, it looks like they've got to walk up the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah, it's like one of those. Yeah, Giza,
Yeah,
like
that's
one of
right,
those, like one of those Polanski movies.
Yes,
you know, where everything kind of spirals off into something much longer than it really is.
Yeah, that's right.
Like some kind of paranoid scenario. Let me read you some tweets out.
Yeah,
Ashley says this: Porky's been spanked tonight.
What?
He's a loser.
No.
Hashtag MG Army. How about this one from Craig? Who says Porky doesn't care about winners and losers. He says laughable when he wins, he almost has a heart attack. How about this from cheapest? Carl says how the mighty have fallen. Porky lost and is back to not caring and abusing MG. Jamie says Porky's lost the plot within 30 seconds of the show.
No. See, the problem is that a lot of people take what I say at face value. You have to look deeper, and you have to weave it into the web of information I've given you over the years to get the proper kaleidoscopic effect of the jigsaw.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know what any of that means, but I'm sure you mean well.
Yeah.
Jonathan says Porky seems back to his usual angry ways after being relatively calm and actually nice to MG the past week or so.
Yes, really? Yeah, well, that was a mistake in the first place because obviously you cheated in some way in the winners and losers
I didn't
competition.
cheat at all.
You must have done.
As I said,
it normally works out at 49-51 one way or the other.
No, it doesn't.
Not huge
That's
gaps
not
like
true.
we've had in
That's
last
not
night's
true.
show. But anyway, I don't want to
Mel
talk about
says
it.
Porky's a definition of a bad loser. Just to tell you, I don't read out ones that are anti-me. Says MG is more Lionel Blair than Messi.
Indeed.
Mike Parry is the Messi of radio, miles better than everyone else and appreciated by millions.
Oh, well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. Who's that from?
That's from M.
Oh, M's a good person, yeah.
Citizen M. He's got a picture of Orson Welles as Citizen Kane as his handle, so he's not actually smart enough to put his own picture up.
Yeah.
Matty says this: Porky is like Ronaldo, the Brazilian one, after he retired. Hashtag Porky Five Bellies.
Yeah, he was a heavy boy, wasn't he? He was around somewhere today because I saw a tweet about him.
He pops up from time to time.
He does, yeah. Do you know what? I'm looking at tomorrow morning's newspapers, the back pages.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea have been given a bad deal by Fleet Street.
Why?
Because, for instance, it ranges from poor show Gus, Hiddink hurt by let Cavani strike.
Yeah.
Eden out, Cavani crack and puts Chelsea on back foot. Chelsea's bogeyman strikes again. Oh, that's not bad. That's in the Times.
Yeah.
And then Sacre Bleu.
They went there.
Chelsea suffer late.
They went there as underdogs, didn't they? To come away
as underdogs, come away 2-1 with an away goal.
Yeah.
I would say they're favourites now to go through.
Well, I would say they've got a chance.
That's a misrepresentation of a rather sterling performance.
But you'd have to say as well that Cavani's goal, as great as it was from him, he should never have been able to score it from that angle. I mean, basically they caught the Chelsea defence flat, and then he ran through, and he was way to the right of the goal, and he should never have been able to score from there.
Have you seen the Messi goal from behind the goal?
No.
Which is utterly incredible.
From behind the goal?
From behind the goal.
How's he scored from behind the goal?
They're on the training field,
Yeah.
right, and they're all messing around at a corner flag, and they've got a ball, and they're doing keepy-uppies and all that,
Yeah.
and then somebody says something to him in Spanish. Now, the five-a-side goal is 20 feet further into the pitch.
Right.
They've obviously, smallened the pitch down for a
Yeah.
five-a-side game.
Yeah.
And somebody says to him in Spanish, bet you can't score from here.
Yeah.
Anyway, from 20 feet behind the goal, at the corner flag, and the goal is in the middle of the pitch,
Right.
he sticks the ball
Well,
away.
he just sort of bends it round.
Bends it round.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
Haven't seen it.
It is literally unbelievable.
Why don't you post it on Twitter and then I'll be able to have a look?
Well, it's on Twitter. That's where I saw it.
Well,
Somebody
why didn't
put
you
it-
retweet it then?
What?
Why didn't you retweet it
Well,
then?
so everybody can see it anyway, can't they?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, not
Yes, they
unless
can.
not unless one of my followers actually retweets it to
yeah.
me,
Yeah. Well.
or somebody that I follow puts it out.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
You
Let
don't
me
know how
see,
that
yeah.
works, do
No,
you?
wait a minute. I'll find
By
it
the way, it
somewhere
looks
here.
very dark next door. Have you seen next door? What's going on?
Oh, I don't know. Lights have gone out. Is it? You're talking about the production
Apparently
unit?
there's a light failure.
Yeah, that's like.
That's not a good sign.
Well, the audience don't care about them sitting in the dark as long as we're not in the dark. As long
Yeah,
as
but
they
what
can
if
still
we
hear
are in
us.
the dark though? What if the light failure spreads to here?
No, it won't. Don't worry. I'll try and find this.
Try and find
and
it.
I will try
I'll
and
read you a couple more.
retweet it
I'll
for
read you
everybody.
a couple more texts that have come in.
Okay.
Here's one from Adi in Northern Ireland. Leave our Porky alone. The man's got a
Yes.
third of his heart working.
Yes.
He will always be the man of the people.
Thank you very much indeed.
I don't know
Yeah.
what he means by that.
Well, only 1/3 of my heart works because I have acute heart failure, but I get through life without moaning about it. What are you laughing at?
Right. You don't have acute heart failure.
I
at
do
all.
have acute heart
Absolute
failure.
rubbish. I'm more and more convinced that there's nothing wrong with you.
Rubbish.
Absolutely not. You don't sleep.
It's disgraceful.
You live the normal life that a man who half your age would live in terms of the way you rush around, in terms of what you eat, in terms of how much you drink.
Disgraceful
you
for you to mock the afflicted like
You do
this.
not appear to me to be in any way disabled, I'm sorry to say.
Well, I didn't say I was disabled.
Well, if you're suffering from acute heart failure, you shouldn't be able to do anything.
I get over my affliction. I just don't let it bother me. I just get on with life, you know?
Hey, by the way, did you see
Yeah.
AVB tonight? What's going on with his beard?
Oh, I mean, his son looked like one of the Romanovs now.
Yeah.
Because he's working in Russia, he thinks, right,
Yeah.
how can I become popular with the fans? I know what I'll do.
Yeah.
Because he's in St. Petersburg, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Which is the home of the Romanov Empire,
Yeah.
of course. They built St. Petersburg,
Yeah,
you know,
the
the
Winter
Tsars.
Palace and all
Yeah,
that.
the Winter Palace and all that kind of stuff. So he grows a beard to make himself look like the last...
Last Tsar.
Last
Tsar Nicholas.
Tsar Nicholas II, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah, you know, and then he starts mumbling, we must win, I have to say, it was must win, bad performance, I will, second leg, be able to bring about that deficit, that's all he says.
His tenure is
Hopeless.
looking a bit sort of tenuous, would you not say?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
yeah.
But considering he made about 14 million quid from failing at two clubs
Yeah,
in this
it's not a
country,
bad business, is it?
Chelsea and Spurs, he can afford to fail again in my bank account. It's not bad. Yeah, I'm sorry, he's an all-time loser to me. In fact, funny enough, I should have put him on the winners and losers list of losers last night, except that he hadn't played.
Well, he hadn't played yet.
tonight,
People
yeah.
might have called you a bit premature
Yeah,
on
but
that.
next time I'll try and predict that.
Well, I think
yeah?
if you do better winners and losers next week, you might have more of a chance of getting closer to the point of
Yeah, but
winning.
you see, I assumed I had such a loyal audience. It didn't really matter who I nominated as winners and losers.
Yeah, but
They
you see,
would
that's
just-
what.
they-
But I've
they
been
would
trying
just
to say
give
to
me the
you.
vote.
But I've been trying to say to you that what we want is for people to vote because of what they think is better. I don't want people to
Yes.
vote just because they like you or because they like me. I don't want people to vote for me who haven't listened to the podcast or who haven't listened to the show. I want people to vote for me because they think what I've done is better than what you've done.
Well, if you be a loser next week, please lose again and put you on the loser list.
Yeah.
Here's one from Rocker in Catterick. He says,
Right.
Porky's position in society is important.
Yes.
We need someone to laugh at. Thank you, Mr. Parry.
No. You need somebody to prove that a class structure in the world is still a good thing. Now, talking about class structure in the
Yes.
world, by the way, did you know, funnily enough, I saw this in one of my social journals.
Social journal?
Yeah, that...
Which particular social journal did you find it in?
I can't remember. I read so many of them.
Sociology Today or something?
Something like that, yes. Do you know that you are defined by what you eat?
Is that right?
Literally.
Bad news for you then, isn't it?
No.
Well, it is.
Literally, poor...
You eat everything out of a tin.
No. Poor people have to eat cheap food.
Yeah.
And you are defined these days, I'm not joking, by what you eat. I mean, for instance, here, what have I got here? I've got this report here.
Yeah.
Food is a class issue, and only the rich can eat well. Families fear food is becoming a class issue, only the rich being able to eat well. Healthy eating costs more.
Well, that's rubbish, you see.
And people worry that Britain is in a two-tier food society. Poorer households bought more processed junk food because it was cheaper. This is what a recent survey says.
Yeah.
Our Food Future study by the government's Food Standards Agency, right?
Oh, yes, it's another government agency.
Yeah, it says...
And what do you think the government agency is seeking to prove?
Participants raised concerns that we're increasingly seeing a social divide in relation to food. These concerns were also compounded by a perception that fast-paced modern lifestyles meant that some individuals were too busy to cook and eat healthier, less processed foods. How about that?
Yeah, but you see,
You
the
see,
problem
you seem
is...
to have all the time in the world to cook food because you don't do anything else.
Well, it's not a question
You
of that.
work, you sleep, and you cook a bit of food.
Yeah, well, I do other
And then
things.
go out and get bladderated all the time.
I do
It's
other things.
disgraceful.
Well, if you manage your life properly, right?
Yeah.
It takes no time to cook anything. All you've got to do is
Yes.
cut up a few vegetables,
Yeah.
put them in a pot, put something else in there with it, and go and do something else. And then by the time you finish doing what you're doing, then your meal's ready, and away you go. It's not difficult.
Can I tell you who I think is a disgrace? And I've reached the end of my tether with her. I think she's a very talented woman. She's a great actress. She's a great script writer. She's won Oscars, I think, for writing scripts.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Emma Thompson has got my goat. She says this country, right, is a cake-filled, misery-laden grey old island.
I thought that was a bit over the top. Even I objected to that.
Miss Thompson, just push off and go and live somewhere else. If you don't like it here, push off.
Somewhere without so much cake and a bit less grey.
You're an incredibly privileged person. You're a very bright girl. You went to either Oxford or Cambridge University, and you're a fantastic product of the loveydom that Oxbridge produces, along with people like Stephen Fry and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you now, honestly, have such an elevated view of yourself, and to start making pronouncements about this magnificent country that gave you all the freedoms you have, and to start putting us all down like this because you think you're so blinking superior, you really are a despicable and utterly unpleasant woman, sneering.
This is all part of her Keep Britain in Europe campaign,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sneering at everybody else because you don't think they're as bright as you don't think they're as talented as you, and you don't think that they have the right to express views like you do. And she goes on ridiculous TV shows and makes pronouncements like, of course, the temperature of the world is going to go up by 3 degrees in the next 20 years without any scientific verification. It's just her opinion based on something she's read. And the woman's a joke. She's an utter joke. Wish you'd push off and go and live somewhere else.
She went to Camden School for Girls. By the
Yeah,
way.
go and push off and live in Cuba or somewhere like that and find out what restrictive...
There's not a lot of cake in Cuba.
Restrictive freedom of speech does for you.
No, indeed. Mr. Parry is on top form this morning, and we're going to be doing Ask Porky a little bit later on. So if you've got any questions for him, he's going to be full of answers, I can assure you. Loads more coming up next on TalkSport.
If you fancy a flutter on the football, a gamble on the golf, a double on the darts, or a treble on the tennis, you're in luck. Get closer to the action every weekend with Betway's Man in the Know on the Weekend Sports Breakfast with Georgie Bingham and Mickey Quinn. Bringing you all the form on the football, the going at Goodwood, the tries at Twickenham, and the overs at the Oval. Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on TalkSport with Betway. Bet now at betway.com.
Employers across the UK, however small the business, will soon have to offer a workplace pension. Don't ignore the workplace pension. It's the law. Visit workplacepensions.gov.uk.
You own this place?
Yes, and you are?
Winston Wolfe, Direct Line. So you're a landlord, a property magnate, a wise guy.
I wouldn't go that far. It's just my wife's old flat.
But you have Direct Line landlord insurance with buildings cover, right? After all, if your boiler breaks down, they'll pay to repair or replace it.
No.
Oh, maybe not such a wise guy.
Boiler cover as standard with buildings cover. Can your landlord insurance do that? Search Direct Line Landlord. Excludes wear and tear. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
Live Championship football with Brentford FC. Next Tuesday night at 7:45. The Bees take on Wolves at Griffin Park. Adult tickets are available from £23 and kids tickets are just £6. No booking fees apply online. Buy yours now at brentfordfc.co.uk.
Bienvenue au Weekend Sports Breakfast avec Michelle Quinn and Georgie Bingham.
Oh, really, Mickey?
Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on TalkSport with Renault Pro Plus centres. It's the breakfast show that cooks up a souffle of sport and a pan of chocolat of pre-match build-up.
There's no need to milk it, Mickey.
The hors d'oeuvre to another big weekend feast of football. The Weekend Sports Breakfast on TalkSport with Renault Pro Plus centres. Dedicated experts who'll keep you moving.
Live on air, now's your chance to do it. You can tweet it at the two mics. You can send it to our Facebook page, post it there. We've got loads and loads of great questions tonight, by the way. Lots of covering many covering areas. So it'll have to be good to get included, but do give it a shot. Now, we were talking about Michelin there, who are the team that Manchester United are playing over in Scandinavia.
Talking about who?
Michelin.
Michelin.
That's how you say it.
Michelin.
No, it's spelled up there for you. Midtijjland.
It's difficult to pronounce that, actually.
Well, not for you.
Midtjylland.
Oh,
it's FC Midtjylland.
Yeah.
Midtjylland.
Where
are they from?
They're from Scandinavia.
Yeah, which country in Scandinavia?
They're from Denmark, I think, aren't they?
You don't know, do you?
I think they're Denmark.
Midtjylland! Yeah, anyway, what about them?
They're in big trouble with Man United fans because they're trying to charge 71 quid for a ticket, for an away ticket, which when they played Southampton only cost a third of that amount.
So people in Midtjylland who run the club are saying, well, all these people are coming from Manchester United, biggest club in the world, the fans must be wealthy. They don't understand the eco-socio-political makeup of Manchester, the Manchester people, the Manchester United fans, or the Manchester United club.
Well, the Manchester United fans are saying, why do they think that we're worth, we're 3 times richer than anyone from Southampton?
Exactly, that's absolutely right. People in Southampton, actually, capita per head, are wealthier than people from Greater Manchester.
Yeah, right.
Because of the north-south drift, the financial and economic development of the country as you go further south.
Yes.
By the way, in Porky Vision tomorrow night, I might be talking about a fantastic new series called Shetland.
Shetland?
Have you seen it?
It's not a new series, it's an old series.
No, it's fantastic.
No,
it's
but
fantastic.
it's not. Yeah, in fact, I watched the first episode of Shetland, and it was all a bit dark.
No,
it took place in Shetland, right?
But
now it's moved to Glasgow or something.
Oh, it's in Glasgow.
So why is it called Shetland?
Well, because the crime they're investigating took place in Shetland.
Did it take place on a ferry or something?
No, they sent a hitman up there with a big gun and he blew a bloke away and knocked him off the cliff.
Yeah.
And he fell down, smashed his face on the rocks and he's dead.
Right.
But I tell you what.
Yeah, I switched it off. It was boring.
No. Because let me tell you something. There's an amazing amount of Rogerisation goes on in society these days.
Rogerisation?
Yeah.
That's why you like it?
Well, maybe, because the guy
There's not much else to do in Shetland, to be fair.
Well, this isn't in Shetland, this is in Glasgow. The guy from Shetland...
I know a bit about Glasgow.
The guy from, about Rogerisation in Glasgow as well, don't you?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, led to the breakdown of your marriage, in fact, didn't it?
I wouldn't say that, no.
I would say.
No, my marriage was already over before I went to Glasgow.
Oh, it was already over, so you just thought you'd pile into a bit of more Rogerisation, did you?
Well, no, I wasn't married anymore.
You weren't married anymore?
I'm a single man.
No, because you'd had 6 mistresses during the course of your marriage.
True. That's not true.
I think it's true. That's what you told. That's what you told.
That's not what I told anybody.
You did. You told the marriage guidance counsellor.
That's not true.
Well, I believe
you just made that number up.
No. I have notes on it. Anyway, Anyway, let me tell you this.
Where are the notes then?
No, it's irrelevant. The guy from the detective inspector from Shetland flies down. Jim.
That's not his name.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Anyway, he flies down, right? and what they do is so that you actually know that the Shetlands is a remote place.
Yeah.
They always show the picture through the plane window across the propeller.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got a propeller-like effect, you know what I mean? Rather than a jet.
Yeah.
Because you're really going to the Shetlands, you know.
It's only a little island hopper.
Yeah, that's right. And anyway, this guy comes down. He then goes to meet the Procurator Fiscal's office, you know.
That's right.
It's the fiscal here.
It's a great name, that, isn't it? Procurator Fiscal.
Yeah, but they don't call him the Procurator, they call him the Fiscal.
The Fiscal,
There's the Fiscal here.
That's right.
Yeah. So the Fiscal's there, but he's got a very attractive assistant.
It's something like Witchfinder General, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
An attractive assistant.
Very attractive assistant. Yeah. A gorgeous girl with long black hair, dressed like a wag. I mean, she's got tight leggings on and 6-inch stiletto heels.
Yeah, well, that's Glasgow for you.
Well, maybe. But anyway, so he gets back to his hotel the following day. She turns up in the bar and says, and she's not Scottish. There's things I have to tell you. He says, let's go somewhere private. What are you laughing at?
I'm sure that's not how he speaks.
He did. So they go up to his room.
Right. Why are you doing Porky Vision now, by the way?
No, this is just so exciting. It's so exciting. He produces this...
I thought Happy Valley was on tonight.
Happy Valley is on tonight. Yeah, I've seen that, don't worry. I'll be talking about that a bit tomorrow as well.
Right.
So he produces this bottle of whiskey, and they start getting bladderated in his room.
In his room? She's already in his room?
Yeah, in his room. And then he says, well, I can't have any more to drink because I'm on the case again tomorrow.
I wouldn't be able to get into any Rogerisation.
No, I have to find the hitman, so I'll show you to the door. But as she gets to the door, she throws himself at him. He starts ripping her, her blouse off.
Dear me.
And they get down to it, to the Rogerisation bit.
They get down to it?
Yeah.
Yes,
And I tell
this
you,
is after the watershed.
I tell you what, they drink a bottle of whiskey between them. I mean, blimey, it's going to take them another 6 weeks to find a hitman at that rate, because they're not only just Rogerisation, they're bladderated in their pursuit of the guy with the gun.
Right.
Oh, and I tell you what,
How about the leggings?
Well, I mean, I can't go into the details of removing the leggings, can I?
You don't see any of that, do you?
No, you don't see any of that.
Okay.
But the main villain is a bloke who he's great, a great Scottish actor, and he approaches him after coming out of jail and says, let me tell you, laddie, when you mess with me, you mess with the
But this is the problem with the show.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
all talk in this kind of hushed tone.
Yeah, they do.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I
Yeah.
remember watching because I was in between sort of various Scandinavian crime dramas, right?
Sure.
And there was nothing to watch, and suddenly Shetland came on. I'm pretty sure it's about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, no,
first
it's brand
one.
new. It's brand new.
No, I don't think it's brand
But anyway,
new.
look,
But anyway, the point is that I started watching the first one.
Yes.
And I thought, well, this is all right. And I watched the second one, and it was so slow.
Yeah.
Because it was on Shetland and nothing was happening.
Well, this is
that
the
I just
point.
couldn't face it.
This is the point I was going to say to you. The bits on Shetland show it as a very remote place.
Well, it is.
Just a few cottages all over
Well,
the
it's
place.
halfway to Norway, isn't it?
Yeah, it is halfway to Norway, yeah. But it looks like... I'm going to go there for a few days just to find out what it's all about.
Why?
Well, it looks beautiful. The scenery looks
Oh, it is.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
The cliffs and the birds.
It's very
and
rugged, though.
Rugged and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Fancy a bit of that. And then I imagine the towns are very cosy in the winter, you know what I mean? Pubs with roaring log
I don't
fires
think you'd
and all
find
that
that
kind
at
of
all.
stuff.
I don't
No,
think
think
you'd
you
find
will.
that, no.
Anyway, listen.
I think you might find that somebody like you went there, there'd be lots of suspicions about you as to why you were there,
could be.
what your intentions were.
Could be.
Were you planning to buy something there? Because they're
Yeah.
always terrified that incomers are going to come in and buy the property and raise the prices of the property, and they're all going to have to move out.
Can I help you today, sir? Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like, what do you call
yeah.
it? That movie with Edward Woodward.
Oh, yeah, The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man,
Yeah,
a bit
that's
like that.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah. Anyway, listen.
Anyway, I wanted to tell you about Manchester United and this ticket price scandal with Michelin.
Okay, Michelin.
Because they've actually got a sign they're going to hold up in black and white letters. Welcome to Scandinavia.
Scandinavia.
It's quite good, isn't it?
That's good. I like that. Yeah,
they're going to be paid. They're going to be paying premium price, £71 to go to this place. Where basically £22 was the price when Southampton went there.
That's a damn disgrace.
That does
isn't
sound
it?
a little bit over the top, and I presume you'll be in support of any kind of boycott they might do because
Yes.
now that you're on the side of the fans,
Oh, absolutely.
walking out. You didn't make any remarks about the Everton fans walking out, by the way, the other day.
Everton fans don't walk out.
Yeah, they did walk out.
No, they didn't.
They walked out of the West Brom game.
No, believe me, they didn't. If it was fans, it was in single numbers because
Really?
you've got to remember, right until the 93rd minute, we were hoping A for an equaliser and B for an eventual winner.
Right.
So there wasn't any walking out. Believe me.
No, okay.
Look,
Now, do you know where they have to fly to go and watch this game? They have to take a flight from Manchester to Billund. Billund, which is the nearest airport to the ground.
Where is it?
In Herning.
In Herning.
Herning in Denmark.
Sounds like Herning.
321 quid return.
Oh, blimey, it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mind you, I'd go because I love the old adventure. I went to see England play last time they played in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen.
Hang on.
Yeah.
There's more, right?
Oh, yeah, go on.
The fans are going to have to pay up to £100 each to reach Herning after they get to the airport.
Yeah.
Hotels are charging up to £320 a night.
You're joking.
For
It's
a room.
ridiculous. Sounds like it's going to cost them £1,000 to go and watch a game.
That's exactly what it's going to cost. A 2-night trip to Denmark would cost over £1,000.
Good God. And so, hang on, when they land at this airport...
Yeah, Herning.
What's the next form of transport?
Well, I presume they have to get some form of, ground transportation, as they
Is
call
it
it
a
in
ferry?
America. I don't think it's a ferry, no.
Well, how much does it cost?
100 quid. Well, maybe it's a taxi, I don't know.
That would be ridiculous. It'd be a ferry.
Why would it be a ferry?
Well, there's lots of ferries around in Scandinavia.
No, you
There's
wouldn't
lots
take
of
a
water.
plane to get a ferry, would you? Surely you'd find a closer airport.
Well, not if it was on a peninsula or something like that. They
Well, I
couldn't
don't
get
think
the
it is on
plane
a
down.
peninsula.
You've got to remember, in Scandinavia, there's all these fjords. And so planes are in danger of crashing into the
They're
side of
mostly
these
in
cliffs.
Norway, though, aren't they?
What?
They're mostly in Norway.
What?
Fjords.
Yeah, but Norway's in Scandinavia.
Yeah, but they're not going to Norway. They're going to Denmark.
Yes, that's true. could be closer
I think you need
to
to get
Copenhagen.
you need to get your map journals out.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you've already done that.
Right, what's the most famous thing
Take
ever
the time.
came out of Denmark?
Hey?
What's the most famous thing that ever came out of Denmark?
Well, I know. Hans Christian Andersen.
No, bacon.
bacon?
Yeah, they produced the world's first bacon. They were the first people...
How do you know it was the world's first bacon?
I've read all my historical journals. They were the first people... It was the old...
So you're saying they invented bacon?
They invented bacon. They were the first people to realise that you could turn a pig into a bacon sandwich.
Really?
And a pork chop. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, they
Well,
were.
I'm gonna have to
Honestly.
check that out.
Up until then, pigs were just seen as wild foragers who, pigs just foraged around in the forest. Nobody thought they were worth anything because they looked so inedible and so unappetising.
Really?
And then the old... one night, one of the old Vikings must have taken his horned hat off, bang, give it to one of the pigs, and next minute you've got a roast joint.
Really?
That's what I think.
OK, well, we'll check that one out. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Steve Lillywhite. This is Talk Sport.
Talk Sport.
What an unbelievable cross!
For max power and ultimate wear resistance.
Talk Sport.
We are the two mics. Ask Porky coming up a little bit later on. Recognise that at all?
What do I recognise?
That piece of music. Why haven't you got your headphones on?
I have got my headphones on.
What's wrong with you?
I have got my headphones on. Let me listen again, please. I need a bit more of it. Hang on.
It's quite a singular sound.
Right, now, what do you mean, the singular sound? What do you mean? Like
Well,
one
it's quite
man?
a singular sound. Well, it's
One
a
man.
band. It's an English band from a
An
while
Engli-
ago.
An English from a
Yeah.
while ago?
Yeah.
Right, I bet that was Blur.
Not far away, but it's XTC.
Oh,
Remember
XTC?
XTC?
No.
Making Plans for Nigel?
No,
Remember that song?
No.
You never heard of XTC?
No, I've never heard of XTC, no.
Right.
And I'm glad I haven't either.
Well, they're
because-
close to John's heart because he's from Wiltshire. And
Oh,
they're one of the
really?
few bands that's ever come out of Wiltshire.
Wiltshire.
Yeah,
Oh,
where
I didn't know.
Where I used to live with my ex-wife. of course.
I didn't know that Wiltshire produced their pop stars. I thought they were all those guys with their combine harvesters.
No, that's Somerset.
Oh,
No,
Somerset.
that's Somerset.
I am a cider drinker.
Would you mind quite not exhibiting quite such ignorance in the face of the musical genius that
Yes.
we're about to speak to, Mr. Steve Lillywhite,
Excellent.
who did a bit of production for XTC.
Oh, did he?
Steve, a very good
Excellent.
morning to you.
Good morning there, boys. Good morning.
Yeah.
And actually, Generals and Mazes is one of two big hits I had that I helped whistle on.
Yeah,
Do
whistle
you remember?
on?
It had whistling on Generals and Mazes.
Oh, brilliant.
And yes, and I was part of the whistling team.
Well, do you
and
know...
also
Do you know what,
Well,
Steve?
Tell me about your whistling, mate.
No, I can't whistle, funny enough. I don't know why,
Doesn't
but
surprise
I just can't whistle. But what I was about to say, I'm so impressed, Steve, because, for instance, when I found out that George Martin actually played the piano on John Lennon's hit Love, right? You know, love
really?
is wanting to be loved. I thought, well, any producer who can actually contribute something musical to the record, to the people that he's working with, is in himself a genius. So you've just reached genius rank with me, Steve.
Oh, well, thank you so much, mate.
It's
so
a pleasure.
Much. And
Pleasure.
As you said, you are a genius, but you haven't quite worked out where your genius is.
No,
that's
none,
what I heard. you say
none of the rest of us have either, Steve. To be
I'm
honest.
still working on it, don't worry. Still working on it.
Anyway, let's talk about Chelsea briefly, because you were hopeful that they might come away with a victory last night, but have they done enough to maybe get to the quarterfinals, do you think?
Well, you know, an away goal is always good, and it's always great when Mikel scores it, because, you know, he scores for fun, as we know, as we always chant at the ground anyway. Who knows? It was a pretty fair game, I thought, and, you know, they are by far the best team in France, but when we come home, we'll hopefully have JT and Zuma back in contention. So, you know, we'll have a better choice of our back four, and we should be able to keep them out and poach a goal or two.
Old Edison Cavani does seem to be, as he's described in one of the papers, the bogeyman for Chelsea, though, doesn't he? He always seems to pop up just at the wrong time.
Yes, it's a little bit annoying, but, you know, it's tight, it's all to play for, and but then we've got Man City at the weekend, who, of course, have been on the back of 2 defeats, so it's our season. This year, our season will be this weekend, really.
It certainly
You know,
will.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Chelsea got a bad result at all, and I'm disappointed with the way that the national newspapers in this country, Steve, are presenting it. You know, one headline here says, Cavani cracker puts Chelsea on back foot. I don't agree. You get an away goal
exactly.
at PSG, and I think you're on the front foot when you get yourself back to Stamford Bridge. And remember, it was the first game that that the standing manager has lost, and that's a tremendous track record. He's not lost at Stamford Bridge. I think you're in very good shape, and I think you will make progress in that competition because you're not going to win the Premier League.
No, we're not even going to get close, Mike.
No,
As
exactly.
you, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But maybe neither are you.
No,
no. I think Everton might still finish below Chelsea by the end of the season.
Well, Everton had a very disappointing season. But I'll tell you a secret, Steve. I am, as a special favour, taking old Fatso here to Bournemouth on Saturday, where Everton are playing.
I can't wait.
Yeah, Everton are playing Bournemouth in the 5th round of the FA Cup. We are guests there, and I expect him to behave in the appropriate manner, representing Everton Football Club. I will give you a detailed report on his performance when I next speak to you.
Yeah, but
that will be fantastic.
But there's an unusual Porky sort of hand of hospitality. He's taking me down there in his brand new Mercedes.
Yes.
But then he's staying the night at his sister's house, where he's told me I can't stay.
No.
So I'm going to have to come home on my own on the train.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, my God.
It's shocking,
oh,
isn't
my
it?
God.
Well, my sister's she's only got a 7-bedroom, 7-bathroom house, you see. So I didn't want to mess it up by putting a fat slob in it. So anyway, that's another story.
Now let's talk about the Grammys.
Indeed.
Because Steve's won a few
The
Grammys.
Grammys, I thought they were, it was pretty good. There's some, it was all about Taylor Swift, which was, but there's some good ones in there. There's a band called the Alabama Shakes, which I know, Mr. Graham, you're a man who likes slightly more contemporary. I think Porky likes the classics, whereas Graham likes a little bit more edgy stuff. And this band, Alabama Shakes, are well worth a listen. They won Best Alternative album, and they've been on my radar for a few years now, and they've turned into a great band. It's well worth checking them out.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
we'll have a listen to that. I feel a bit sorry for Adele, who apparently, I was wondering if somebody pulled the plug on her, because, I mean, if you're at something like the Grammys and the sound production fails...
It shouldn't.
I mean, you can see that happening at somewhere like Talk Sport once in a while, but, I mean, at the Grammys, you wonder whether there's somebody playing dirty tricks on her.
Well, it's these things should never happen at the Grammys. They should never happen at the Super Bowl, but they do, because you've got human beings there, and it sort of means that at least they're really singing and really performing. Unlike some artists who could just be miming, and you never quite know, So the good thing about the Grammys, it still has an element of real music about it. It's pop music is ruling at the moment. I mean, I'm afraid, as I say, other than the Alabama Shakes, there's an artist called Meghan Trainor won the Best New Artist. And she's just, not really an artist to say that much. But no, it was good. Taylor Swift did well. Ed Sheeran won Song of the Year, which is great. We all love Ed Sheeran. I think he's...
Do the Grammys, Steve, do they actually represent those who are worthy of winning, unlike what I think the Oscars represent, which is those who Hollywood think should win, rather than the talent that deserves the awards?
Well, it's all subjective, isn't it, Mike? There has been a lot of talk that the Grammys are pretty much... the people who vote on the Grammys tend to be white people who like white music. And so, you two all have won so many Grammys. I was lucky enough to win Producer of the Year when you two won Album of the Year, and it was,
There was no luck in that, Steve. There was no luck in that. You're a genius. That's why you're on the Two Mike Show.
Stop it.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely.
But there is one thing, is that you really don't know if you've won. There's not any one of those... There's no, there are some awards shows where you basically, they say, if you turn up, the chances are you'll win.
Yeah.
One of those things.
Sure.
But the Grammys is not like that. They really... It really is. You wait there, and they open the envelope.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden, you're up in front of, millions of people on stage, which I was very lucky to be able to be there, and to go up on stage.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mind you probably wouldn't have been able to get into Tiger's after-show party, because even Paul McCartney was turned away from that, apparently, because he wasn't famous enough.
Oh. Really?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Shocking. But
He
you're
says,
right.
well, along with Beck, along with Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters, Woody Harrelson, and Paul McCartney and his wife.
Yeah.
So Paul was overheard joking, how VIP have we got to get into this party? They wouldn't let him in.
Oh, my God.
It's a disgrace. Now, Steve, I need advice from you, please. Very soon, old Mike and I are going to announce that we're doing Dingwalls in London, OK, as a live show, the Two Mikes Live. Do you have any?
Oh, fantastic.
Do you have any experience of Dingwalls? Is it sort of rock and roll enough for a couple of guys like us?
Oh, Dingwalls is a legendary music venue in Camden, and it's, you know, all the greats have played at Dingwalls. I mean,
All the greats?
From all the greats.
Yeah,
I mean,
brilliant.
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, no, you'll have a great time, and oh, good. So you're still doing your touring? That's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. It's getting bigger and bigger, and, you know, we're getting bigger and bigger venues, and we might even film this one. Our first DVD is out at the moment, at Two Mikes Live, but we've had an offer to make a live video production of this, so we need your expert
Oh, well,
help.
that means you. Good. That means you need a whole new set of. You can't do the same set then.
Well, we've got plenty of material.
The trouble is, Porky can't remember what we did the first time around.
No,
so
I can't. No, exactly.
We're hoping nobody else can either.
Yeah, certainly can't remember what we did in Glasgow.
You know what, boys? That is really one of the things about getting old, is that I'm forever wondering whether I've told someone the story that I'm about to tell them.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean. I know
you
what you
know,
mean. Yeah, I know
you know what I mean. And
yes. Well, you tell it to so many different people, you can't remember who was around when you last told it. But I mean, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, indeed.
You know what I mean? Especially when I'm sure when you're on radio, you must go, "Hang on, have I already told this story?"
Yeah, I do sometimes tell the same story.
It's
twice,
true.
don't I?
Yeah. And then he has to struggle to make sure he gets all the details the same. Otherwise,
Exactly.
people accuse him of making it all up. But Steve, listen, a delight to talk to you as ever. We'll get that DVD across to you soon. I don't think I've managed to do that, but it will happen very, very soon. And we'll talk to you again maybe when the replay happens at Stamford Bridge.
Absolutely, but I would love to tell you next time about my new job, which involves records and chicken.
Records
That's
and chicken?
all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Because, you know, I live in Indonesia. I live in Jakarta. There is a unique situation in Indonesia that you don't have anywhere else in the world, and I'll tell you all about it.
Okay, brilliant stuff. We've got to run though, Steve, because we're out of time. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on, about 9 o'clock this morning. Just thinking of that commentary there from Talk Sport last night.
Yes.
Tonight we've got Roma versus Real Madrid.
Roma
with your man
versus
Ronaldo.
Real Madrid.
It's only just occurred to me now that when people say Paris Saint-Germain, it sounds like Paris Saint-Germain.
Have
you ever thought of that? That's Italian.
Roma.
That's Italian.
I know, but it's Roma playing tonight, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
right.
commentary on Talk Sport.
Hey, now, by the way, I've got some news for
Paris,
you.
Paris, by the way, Paris is French for Paris. You know that?
Yeah, I did know that, yeah.
So there's no correlation
it's the
between
French pronunciation.
Paris and Paris.
No.
What I've been...
But it sounds like Paris Saint-Germain. I've just never thought of it before. It should be your favourite team.
What I was talking about for most of my young adult life was, here's old gay Paris. You know what I mean?
Oh, is that what you'd be taunted by?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a bit harsh,
That is
isn't
a
it?
bit harsh, yeah. Now, you were talking about being an island earlier.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Shetland.
Yes.
Right? Now, bizarrely, I've had a great tweet here from Stephen, who sends me this. This could be Porky's new private fiefdom as an island for sale.
Right.
Off the coast of Orkney, I believe. Or is it? Yeah, no, just off the Shetlands, actually. The most easterly point of the Shetlands.
North, south, east, so it's near Scandinavia. Yes.
Well, it's not that near Scandinavia. It's the easterly point of the Shetlands, right?
Yeah,
It's called the Isle of Grunay.
Grunay?
Yeah. It's got former lighthouse keepers' cottages.
Yeah.
And it's got no running water, phone signal or electricity.
Right.
However, you can buy the entire island, including private pebble beaches, 56 acres of unspoilt land, 85 grand.
And what would you do with it then?
Well, you'd live there.
Well, hang on. What do you mean? Live there in the dark?
Well, no,
electricity.
you could get electricity pumped in. Can you be a generator?
Yeah, okay.
Which is
No
reasonably easy
running
to do.
water.
Well, you could probably fix that up. You could make sure there was running water.
Presumably, there's no drains. Or,
I mean, with your vast wealth, what you could do is
ablutionary facilities
you could set up your
and
own.
all that kind of
You could
stuff.
set up your own personal desalination plant.
Well, I tell you,
You know, the sea power is there.
I tell you, who did
You could have your own
exactly
wind
that.
turbine.
Here we are. Richard Branson went to Necker,
Yes,
and that was
a bit warmer
deserted
there,
island.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit warmer there. Deserted island. and he literally imported everything, imported the wood from Holland, and built the main house and built the boathouse and built everything, actually.
Yeah, look, there's a picture of the lighthouse keeper's cottage.
Because I stayed in it. Let me have a look at this, please.
So you could live in the lighthouse keeper's cottage.
Yeah, where's the lighthouse?
Well, it's probably down the coast a little bit.
No, it's not. The lighthouse keeper's cottage is usually at the base of the lighthouse, but I cannot see a lighthouse.
Well,
I can only see the cottages.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'll see if I can find
and anyway,
you a picture
look,
of the lighthouse.
there must be running water because why?
Well, how do they get a lighthouse if there's no electricity?
Well, exactly. And also,
Maybe it's a dark house.
You can't have the lighthouse keepers' cottages that don't have running water. Otherwise, you ask them to live like cavemen.
Well, I mean, you can live without running water. It is possible. When I was in Bosnia, there was no running water.
Oh, you keep
you
getting
have
on
a
about
bath once a week. You'd have a bath once a week.
Yeah.
You know, because water was rationed.
Oh my God!
And they had to get it from a pump in the middle of the town.
Yeah, I don't want to know about it. Thank you. I don't like conditions like that. I mean,
yeah, well, unfortunately, when you're in a war zone, you have to make do.
Yeah, I know about war zones, mate. You know, you
were staying in a hotel in your war zone, so it couldn't have been that bad of a war zone, could it?
Unfortunately, my hotel was targeted by an American F-111 Sidewinder.
Unfortunately, they missed you.
Well, that's very nice, isn't it? Make a joke of that. People are being massacred all around
me. Let me give you some more.
I'd been
now, when you said it was near Norway, right, this place, 200 miles from Norway.
Well, that's not far.
Quite a long way in a boat.
It's not far.
But apparently, the nearest sort of town is on a nearby island called Outskeddies.
Outskeddies.
Which is 5 minutes away in a boat.
5 minutes in a boat, providing there's not a force 15 gale.
Providing that, there's a school, a post office, a ferry, a church, and an airstrip. Why are you speaking like that?
Well, just in case I buy
now,
the
you'd be
island.
You'd be buying
I
it
want
from...
to integrate myself with the local people.
Right.
I'll go down there and I'd start singing, let the wind blow, hey, let the wind blow low. I just come down from the Isle of Skye and all the girls as I go by say, Donald, where's your trousers?
Yes, very good. Unfortunately, those are not the words. You'd be buying the island from hypnotherapist Jackie Baldwin.
Oh, yeah.
Who's 52.
Right.
Just your sort of age.
It's not old, is it?
Who bought the island 12 years ago as a safe investment for her savings.
Okay.
So you could buy it from her, maybe live with her.
Hang on, she's selling it for 85 grand, which is not a huge amount of money.
No.
You know, with the greatest respect to
She
people.
lives in the Scottish Lowlands.
She lives in the Scottish Lowlands.
Yeah.
So how much did she buy it for?
It doesn't say.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, if she bought it for nothing, she's only made 85 grand. How many years has she had it?
Well, she's 12 years, it says.
Yeah, well, 12 into 12 sevens, 12 eights, 12 sixes. She's only made about
what difference does that make?
£7,000 a year. If she bought it for nothing. And I bet she didn't. I bet she bought it for 50. I bet she's made 30 grand and all the hassle of owning an island. No, thank you. If I got it, I would develop it to a point where I'd sell it for £1 million.
You'd put a load of houses on it, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Ruin it.
Of course, and try and get people to live there. Yeah,
Apparently, during the Second World War, the Outskeddies were of strategic importance due to their proximity to Norway.
Oh, absolutely.
A regular stop-off for Norwegian boats carrying escapees from the Nazi occupation.
Absolutely. It was called the North Sea Run. And these fishing boats...
There she is. Look, she's got a nice golden retriever as well.
Nice golden retriever, yeah. These Norwegian fishing boats, which were really escape boats, as you quite rightly say, for downed airmen and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Hey, look, there's the lighthouse. It's on another island.
Let's have a look, yeah.
It's on a sort of nearby island, because there's so many little islands. About 100 islands around the Shetlands, you know.
Well, what a ridiculous place to have the lighthouse.
Why?
Well, because how do you get home to your cottage if there's a force 15
you take a little boat.
Gale?
You take a boat.
No, if there's a force 15
Well, or you
gale.
stay on the lighthouse then.
Battering the lighthouse.
But I'm more puzzled as to how they get the light in the lighthouse if there's no electricity.
Well,
they must have a generator for that.
Thing is, laddie, thing is...
Are you going to talk like this through the whole show now?
Late at night, when the force 15 gale is battering the light, you have to be resolute to do that job.
Right.
Okay.
Well, why don't you just buy it for an investment? Anyway.
No, they're ridiculous. I'm going to throw my money away. If I had 85 grand now to buy anything, I would buy probably...
An Aston Martin.
I was going to say a classic car, which would appreciate in value, maybe, yeah.
No, they don't appreciate in value, though, unless they're really classic cars.
I'm going to be dealing quite soon, I'll just let you know, in some football memorabilia, which will be...
memorabilia?
Yeah, celebrating the 50th anniversary.
Not a Wayne Rooney shirt, is it, by any chance?
No, it's not, no. It's,
well, what is it, then?
It's the 50th anniversary of England's victory in the World Cup, which, by the way, was on July the 30th. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Everybody thought it was June the 30th.
Very late. Are you sure? That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's right. Yeah, you check it on your information device. I don't know. But for some unknown reason, it was. And when you think that the Football League seasons usually start in the second or third week of August now, where did the players go for rest and recuperation for the new season?
Very good question. Ian says this, so you'll be talking to a fat expert. You do that every night, Mr. Graham, don't you? And how about this
yourself?
And how about this? Here's from Derek in Pencoed, who you insulted yesterday.
Yep.
He says, Mike, a message for Porky.
Yep.
On yesterday's show, you referred to me as being a bog cleaner.
That's right.
Yes, I do clean toilets, which isn't easy because they're in constant use, but I have other duties as well, emptying bins, sweeping and hoovering floors, mopping up spilt tea and coffee, keeping the break area clean, and they are in use all the time and such like. So some respect. My job is just as important as anyone who works where I clean, and some days I have to clean at 3 sites and can do up to 15 hours a day.
Sorry, does he work in schools or something?
I don't know.
Talking about? Offices or what?
Well, offices probably.
No, it sounds like schools. He said breaks. Now, breaks is usually associated with, schools.
No, but I mean, we
have
areas where people go and have a break and make a cup of tea.
Well, we don't. Yeah, but we frown on it, don't we? We don't like people sitting around lazing around. 15 hours a day.
What do you mean we frown? I don't frown on it.
15 hours a day, I suppose. You know, that's.
I think you've been very, very cruel.
Still get 9 hours a day to yourself, don't you? To sleep and all that, and eat and all that. 9
hours a day to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't work 15 hours a day. You only work 3 hours a day.
Funnily enough, I've got a very long day today, which won't finish till about 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But anyway,
Really?
there we go.
Oh, well. Now, how about this from Jim?
Yes.
How hilarious to hear Porky condemning Emma Thompson for supposedly thinking herself superior to others.
Yes, I
when
do.
just minutes before, he admitted that was how he sees himself.
No, not
Talking
at all.
about the virtues of a class system and how much more entitled he is to pontificate than all the dumb coughs out there, brackets his word, as ever Porky is projecting his own dire dysfunctionality onto someone else.
No, not
You
at
need
all.
immediate therapy, Porky, he says.
No, Miss Thompson irritates me to the bone because she feels so superior and she issues all these ridiculous, left-wing sort of dictums on life where... And she's such a multi-millionaire, lives in a massive house, drinks, if she drinks alcohol, I don't know. If she does, she drinks the finest champagne.
How do you
if
know
she
that?
doesn't, I don't
She
know
might
that.
not.
I don't know that. Well, I just
She might
know
be
that these...
teetotal.
No, these lovies do. They are literally champagne socialists. She may be teetotal, I don't know, for all I know. I don't know. I respect that if she is, obviously. But I just wish she'd just pipe down. And she wants to live in this crazy little world of... hugely wealthy socialism, which is a complete, what's the word I'm talking about here? It's one thing can't be another.
Eh?
You can't be a champagne socialist.
What you mean? You can't be a hypocrite?
Can't be a hypocrite, but there's another word for it. Oxymoron.
It's
an oxymoron,
okay.
and you can't
to
have
be
that.
a champagne socialist?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can.
Yeah.
It's not very believable, really.
Well, it's not believable. Loads of them are not believable. But anyway, there you go. Talking about drinks, by the way, I'm going to tell you about the latest in drink, which somebody's asked me to...
Did you ever find out about that alcohol powder, by the way?
About
we
what?
talked about last week, that alcoholic powder that we talked about last week.
Well, we talked about that, and it's all
No, I know,
sorted.
but did you find any of it then?
No, I didn't look for it. I don't want it.
You don't want it?
No, I don't want it.
I thought you wanted to put it on your egg sandwiches.
No.
Rubbish,
Okay. Rubbish.
Well, we're talking
Egg
more
sandwiches.
about...
I've never eaten an egg in my life, you know that.
Whatever it is that you put on your sandwich. Ham sandwich.
No.
This is Talk Sport.
I know. The state pension is changing.
I know. How much you get will still depend on your national insurance record. And don't forget you may still have a private pension to consider too.
I know. I'll be able to see how much I'm likely to receive and understand what I can do to improve my state pension.
I know. If you reach state pension age on or after the 6th of April 2016, you'll be part of the new scheme.
Make sure you know the facts about the new state pension. Visit gov.uk/yourstatepension for more information.
Thinking about care for an elderly loved one is never easy, but getting the right advice and support can be. Bupa's Elderly Care Support Line is here to answer any questions you might have. From paying for care to finding care homes in your local area, our advice is free and available to everyone. You don't even have to be a Bupa customer. So call Bupa's Elderly Care Support Line today on 0800 52 000 52 or search Bupa Elderly Care online.
Hello, Darren. You here again?
Yeah. Pump 7, please. And these.
Must have been a long drive. You were only in here yesterday.
Yeah, I had to go to the other side of the country.
And back again in just one day. Well, it's nice to see you.
You too. Oh, and these are for you.
Cheese and onion, my favourite.
We don't mind why you come to Esso. We're just happy that you do. That's why at Esso you earn Tesco Club Card points when you fill up with us. Participating Esso service stations only. Terms and conditions apply. For details, visit esso.co.uk.
When you need all the latest form and odds on all the day's sporting action, and you need it fast, you need the Coral Daily Download. Get all the latest news and great offers on all the big games and all the biggest race meetings in one essential package. Delivered to your ears at the speed of sound. Don't miss the Coral Daily Download every morning on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast from 6 on Talk Sport with Coral. Your best bet for breakfast.
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
It's finally at boiling point.
This afternoon from 4.
It really has. Don't talk about that.
Talk Sport.
You got a real nice place. Cruxy gonna be there soon. And I just wanna see his face. I'm getting lonely in my empty room. Living on an island. Working on another line. Waiting for my friend to come.
It's a nice song, isn't it?
Yeah, who's that?
I don't recognise it.
I do. That is Living on an Island is a group from the 70s.
Is it?
And they're called, hang on, Living on an Island. Yeah, it's there are a lot of hits in the 70s.
Oh, yeah? Well, like who? Dr. Hook?
No, begins with A.
British band?
British band. Marmalade?
Marmalade doesn't begin with A.
No, it doesn't begin with A, does it? No. Hang on. A. Something like Avalanche or something.
Avalanche?
What are they called?
I've never heard of a band called Avalanche.
Tell us what the group is. I need to know.
It's Status Quo,
Status Quo.
It doesn't sound like Status Quo,
No, it
does
doesn't sound like Status Quo. It sounds too mellow for Status Quo.
It must have been before the old banging of the heads into the wall and the cocaine overload.
It must have done. Status Quo's usually like heavy sort of metal, isn't it? You know,
well, it's not really heavy metal, but it's very sort of, I would say, recognisable guitar music.
I agree.
I saw Status Quo. My first band I ever saw Status Quo.
Really?
When I was about 12.
I was on a plane once with them to Holland. I don't know why they were on the plane, but we were going to
Well, they were probably going to Holland.
Well, yeah, they were going to Holland, but I don't know why, Status Quo were on a...
maybe they were doing a show in Holland.
No, this was, it was a cheap flight, Ryanair or something.
Well, why wouldn't they go Ryanair?
I don't know. I just...
there's no reason not to go on a cheap flight.
No, what I'm saying is they didn't have a load of, groupies. There's only the two of them,
Yeah, but why would they not be doing that?
Well, I thought they'd have, a load of groupies with them and all the gear and all that kind of stuff,
Well, no, they all drive there.
Yeah, I suppose they do, yeah. Now, listen, I told you I was going to tell you...
Yeah, you were telling me about some new drink, right?
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what I found out from my health journals, that you can go in your garden now if you've got a birch tree. You know what a birch tree looks like?
Yes.
Silver birch.
Do you mean a silver birch?
Silver birch, beautiful tree.
Very beautiful tree, yeah.
And what you do is you go and...
Very pesky leaves, though, I would say, in autumn.
What do you mean?
Their leaves are quite small, and so there's an awful lot of them that fall down into the garden, yeah.
No,
well, you wouldn't know about this because you haven't got a garden.
I have got garden. I've got grounds around my penthouse.
That's not yours, though, is it? It's shared.
Yeah, but I pay for the upkeep of it.
Well, what, you alone?
No, me and everybody else.
So it's shared, and it's not really a garden. It's not your own garden that you can go and take your chair down and sit in it, is it?
Yes, it is if I wanted to, but why would I have to? Because I've got a roof garden.
Why not just admit you haven't got a garden? You've got a roof garden about the size of, a small WC.
No, my roof garden takes up the...
It's got that little tiny bench, right, like a child's bench, right, which would suit about 2 6-year-olds.
It doesn't have a bench.
It's got a little... Well, it's got a bench. We've all seen it.
No, it has 4 individual wooden seats, gigantic wooden seats.
Gigantic?
Okay?
They only look gigantic when you sit in them.
No. Now, let me get on. What happens is, if you've got a birch tree, go down there with a Stanley knife.
What?
And go down with a Stanley knife and dig into the bark of the tree.
You're talking about getting hold of the sap?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have you heard about this?
No, but I knew what was coming. If you're going to get a drink out of a tree, you'd have to go into the sap.
Yeah, and you can drain out some of the sap. And
I just said that.
And it's brilliant hydration for the body. Okay?
What?
It's brilliant hydration. It's clear.
Well, how much sap do you need?
It's called clear tree sap.
Yeah.
And all you need is imagine if you make yourself a glass of orange squash.
Yeah.
You'd put like an inch of orange squash in the bottom of the glass and then fill it up with water.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you do with the birch tree.
I don't really drink orange squash.
That's what you do with the birch tree sap.
So you mix it with water?
Mix it with water.
What do you mix it with something alcoholic?
No, well, you could if you were
like
in
a whiskey or something.
If you're in a bladderation mood, but I mean, it's better to mix it with water. It helps cleanse the body of toxins, right?
Right.
Now, the point is, it's even better if you go to Finland and do it to a birch tree in Finland.
Well, you don't want to be taking Stanley knives on planes to Finland, do you?
Well, you buy one when you got there. In Latvia or Lithuania, okay?
Yeah, right.
And you're going to find it being sold in the high street soon because it's now the new wonder drink, okay?
Right.
It's got no calories. This is the whole point. This is why people like it, okay?
But what's so good about it, though? What does it have in it?
It rids your body of all the toxins.
Right.
It's described as thin, watery sap It can be tapped from the silver birch. Or
But when you say tapped, I mean, it's easier said than done, isn't it? Because I've seen people tapping, for example, maple trees in America for maple syrup.
Yes.
And it's not as simple as simply, getting a knife.
Well, if you learn the technique,
Oh, no,
it's easy.
I think you need some kind of tapping device, don't you?
No, you don't.
I think you do.
No,
I think you need
no,
something that you need to sort of drill into the middle of the tree.
Haven't you seen all these sort of native Indian guys in the Amazon and all this? They just drain everything out of the trees.
Yeah,
don't
but they know how to do it.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Just learn how to do it. Anyway, it's described as thin, watery sap. It can be tapped from both the silver birch or the North American sweet birch. Okay.
Okay.
You drill a hole in the trunk.
I'm not so sure what the difference is between
Drill a hole in the trunk.
silver birch and North American sweet birch.
Drill a hole in the trunk in the spring.
Yeah.
The sap will then flow into a container through a tube or along a piece of wood. So you just stick a straw in.
So you stick a straw in.
Straw in, that's right. Yeah. So it doesn't harm the tree.
It sounds more complicated than that.
No, it doesn't harm the tree. It removes only 1% of the rising spring sap. So you're not what's the word I'm looking for? Denigrating the tree of its own moisture.
Right.
The birch sap is a slightly silky, sweet-tasting liquid with a bit of a woody aftertaste, which isn't surprising, really, since it's come out of a tree.
It's come out of a tree.
And according to research, it was used by Vikings to remove freckles.
What?
They didn't like freckles, Vikings.
What, do you mean they rubbed it on their skin to remove the freckles?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They didn't like freckles.
Why not?
I don't know. Because they felt that they, I mean, I've got loads of freckles. I've got millions of freckles. Have you noticed?
You need a lot of sap. No, I've never really noticed how many freckles you've got. Why would I notice how many freckles you've got?
And in the summer, when the sun shines on my skin, I get more freckles, Yeah.
Well, that's
because
because you've got ginger hair.
Yes, that's true.
How many freckles do you think you've got? Have you ever counted them?
Oh, thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah. Anyway, it also has curative properties and is believed by, supporters of this particular drink to treat everything from liver disease to headaches.
Right.
Okay?
So have you got any silver birches in your shared garden?
Yes, we've got one, yeah.
So you're going to go tap it then?
Well, I might do, because it says here, the birch tree has been called the tree of life, and it has been used as a medicinal plant for centuries throughout Eastern and Northern Europe, as well as Northern China.
Really?
Now, birch sap, this is according to medical research, what are you laughing at? What's your problem?
Well, because you're now getting to the shouting stage.
No. It contains electrolytes, such as potassium.
That's good.
Which helps with hydration.
Yeah.
And flavonoids.
Flavonoids I'm not familiar with.
Flavonoids are rich in antioxidant properties.
Are they?
But it also contains sugars, and commercial birch water may contain high amounts of added sugars, so be aware and always read the labels, i.e., you should drain your own sap and not buy it in bottles from Waitrose.
I was going to say, presumably somebody is actually selling it, so you could cut to the chase and cut the middleman out and just buy it straight from a shop.
Certainly can.
Because it sounds quite complicated. I don't think drilling into wood is that easy to do.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Well, when have you ever drilled into a tree?
Well, never, but I've never wanted to draw sap from it. But it's very easy just to get a drill.
Yeah, you can imagine.
And go, brrr. That would take about less than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then when you've done the brrr.
Well, you think you know exactly which drill bit to use, do you?
Well, you'd use a drill bit the same size as a straw, you idiot, don't you?
Oh, it doesn't
and
matter
then
about
you put
the size.
straw in the hole.
It's about what it's meant to be drilling into. Yeah, masonry drill. You get a drill for wood.
Use a wooden drill. Don't use a drill into a
plastic.
tree. Trees aren't made of concrete, so you don't need a masonry drill.
Why would you get a wooden drill?
What do you mean?
How would you get a wooden drill?
Well, I've got... my drill's got about...
If your drill's wooden, you're going to have trouble making it run on electricity, aren't you?
Oh, you idiot. My drill has got about 30 different bits to drill into.
Your drill?
Yeah. 30...
When was the last time you used it?
Well, I've never used it, actually.
You've never used it?
No.
And how long have you had it?
About 10 years. But I don't know.
So why did you buy it?
I didn't. It was given to me.
Yeah.
When we did a promotion here once at Talk Sport for something like, Juicens or something.
Oh, yeah.
Do they sell drills?
Probably.
Yeah, exactly. Or B&Q or something. I don't know. The guy from wherever it was came in and said, "Hi, how you doing? Would you like a drill?"
There's a drill.
Yeah, and he gave me the drill.
Why don't you give it to somebody who could use it?
I've used it as a doorstop actually ever since. One of my doors in Gosport. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I know that it's got about 30 drill bits, and one of them is to drill into wood.
Yeah.
So it's I think it sounds easy, absolutely easy.
Well, I think you should try it and bring some in.
A rich source of
vitaminized
drink.
Why don't you try and get some of this stuff out of the tree?
Yeah.
And
maybe
then bring it in here, and
Maybe I will.
And we can put it in our tea or something.
Well, I think you have to do it in spring, so I've got to wait a couple of weeks. But I mean, I think I will try it. Now, the other thing is another victory in one of my campaigns.
Yeah, go on.
Anti-foie Right?
Anti-foie?
Yeah,
What's that?
anti-foie gras, I mean.
You mean foie gras?
Yeah, anti-foie gras have won a battle to have foie gras.
Foie gras. Why can't you say it?
Taken off
why can't you say foie gras?
Taken off the menu at a Norfolk pub.
Yeah.
Right, the King's Arms in the village of Flegborough.
Right.
Has decided not to serve foie gras.
Why can't you say foie gras?
Or chicken liver parfait.
Right.
After it was explained that, it's very cruel, the old foie gras stuff, isn't it?
Why can't you say foie gras?
I've just said it a million times.
No, you haven't said
shut
it.
up.
Say it again. Try it again.
Foie gras. What's your problem?
Well, it's not spelled F-W-A-G-W-A. Foie gras.
Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? And the point is that...
they've only suddenly discovered it's cruel.
Well, no, but, I mean, representation's been made to them to say, look, do you really think people want to eat this because it comes from a tortured animal?
Yeah, but, I mean, any kind of pâté is in some ways cruel and put together in a bad way, isn't it? It's not very good for any of the animals they get it from.
Well, no, I mean, normal pâté comes from normally reared creatures.
Yeah.
But
normally reared
foie
creatures.
gras is one that.
Hey, look! I found a picture of your roof garden, which is what I've been looking for.
Oh, let's have a look.
And it's got a picture of it's got the bench in there. There's the bench.
Let me have a look. Where's the bench?
That's the bench there on the right.
No,
on
it's
the left,
not a
rather.
bench. That's 2 chairs.
2 chairs?
Yeah, honest to God.
So you've only got 2 chairs?
No, I've got 4 chairs.
Well, where are the other 2?
Well, there's one at the top there, you can see. There's 2 on the left, and there's one towards this end of the picture.
Right.
Okay?
And there, as ever, is the one single glass of wine.
Well,
one bottle.
I only drink one at a time.
Table
if you see
for
what I mean.
one.
Anyway, I want to get back to the foie gras for a minute because what's happening is that they have decided now not to use it. Now, the point is, this is a good thing because when you think about it, it is cruel, isn't it, to force? Does it come from a duck foie gras? Or a goose.
Yeah, it comes from a goose, yeah.
Goose, yeah. And they feed, they pour all this corn down the
Well, they use
creatures.
a funnel, basically, and they corn feed it to such an extent that its liver swells.
Oh, it's horrible.
Right?
It's horrible.
And it becomes foie gras literally inside its body.
Oh, it's absolutely...
I must admit, it's not something that I've ever really liked in any great quantity.
Well, I wouldn't eat it, knowing the way it's produced. It's horrible. I mean, it's a disgusting thing to do. And frankly, whilst I would...
So what's this got to do with you, anyway, the campaign?
Oh, because I've signed a petition.
When?
Oh, I don't know, last year.
What, in Norfolk?
No, it's a national petition. But it was to try and persuade people, generally speaking, not to eat it and not to make sure it comes off the menus because you don't need it. Nobody's making a fortune out of producing foie gras in such a cruel fashion.
True.
So I'm delighted, and I hope that's just the start. And if it's starting in Norfolk, which is a very rural area, then it's a good example to the rest of the country.
But nobody goes there. But nobody goes to Norfolk, do they?
Sorry?
You were all saying nobody goes there.
Well, it's a specialised place to visit because you've got the Norfolk Broads. And that's where you can get on a boat and get bladderated with a case of wine whilst you're steaming up and down the Broads.
Foie gras.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Burly, boisterous and brimming with testosterone.
Harder, tougher and meaner.
On DAB, digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Does your partner think you're going deaf?
Talk Sport.
That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy.
Now, it's interesting they're playing this song now, right? Because Geordie Jeff sent me this text a little bit earlier on. Mike, he said, you've just said you don't know of a band called Avalanche. However, there is the Avalanches, who had a hit called Frontier Psychiatry. And the intro is regularly played on your show. The boy needs therapy. So that's that
right?
song from the Avalanches. Yeah, well, I didn't know that was the name of the band, to be honest.
Oh, right, OK. Listen, by the way, we talked earlier about you going to Glasgow and you said, my marriage was over by then, all that kind of stuff. And I've talked to you before and you said that you lost everything in the divorce, the house and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I didn't lose everything. But, I mean, what I did was I made sure that my kids were going to be provided for. That was the whole point.
Very decent of you as well.
Thank you.
But anyway, I came across this report, right, from one of my journals on social dilemmas.
Oh, yeah.
A plumbing tycoon says he's been totally wiped out by his Lithuanian girlfriend who won their £650,000 house in court, even though they never got married.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this?
So that's becoming a bit like the old Californian law, isn't it? Where you could, no matter whether you were married or not, you could get at least half of whatever it was that the person owned.
Yeah, listen to this. John Hoggins, strange old name, isn't it? Hoggins, 62, was forced to hand over the home to Greta Cerniauskait. Right?
Right. How old is she?
47.
Uh-huh.
Right?
47?
Yeah.
There's that number again.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Who he says didn't do a single day's work while they were together. Mr. Hoggins, who's now married to his fifth wife.
Really?
Right?
Well, he should know better at his age,
so
shouldn't he?
He's a bit of a serial wedder or serial marrier, right?
Yeah, right.
Right, he's married to his fifth wife, whose name is Orn. And she is
Orn,
O-R-N.
Yeah.
She's a 42-year-old from Thailand.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Yeah. After he signed a prenuptial agreement with this one, bit late, considering he lost his.
Some of these guys
house.
really don't learn, do they?
No. He said he'd also spent vast sums on cosmetic surgery for Miss Cerny Oskite.
Oh, dear.
Now, Miss Cerny's Oskite, by the way, I think is Latvian, right?
Yeah. I think it said she was Lithuanian.
Oh, Lithuanian, I'm sorry. Yeah, Lithuanian, that's right. Lithuanian girlfriend, yeah. So, anyway, Mr. Hoggins, who describes himself as a self-made man, and he's got two teenage...
Sounds like he's trying to unmake himself.
Yeah, he does, yeah. But he has two teenage sons with his fourth wife, who was...
So this woman from Lithuania was in between the fourth and fifth wife?
Yes, that's right, yeah. And the fourth wife was
Where's she from?
Cuba. She's from Cuba. And her name is Ania Villanueva.
All right.
And he said, I've been totally ripped off, and Greta's wiped me out. Greta being the fifth wife, okay?
Yeah.
So, oh no, hang on, which is...
No, she was never his wife, right? They never got married.
Greta was never got married, that's right. She came before...
How long, does it say how long he was with this woman?
About 6 years, I think.
Really?
Anyway, he said,
Blimey.
I would appeal, but I haven't got the money left and can't afford it. The judge thought I was a millionaire tycoon, but I'm now nearly bankrupt after my plumbing business went into liquidation last year. I've had to sell my retirement house in America to pay court costs of over £200,000.
I have to say, I mean, as tragic as his story may be, I can't say that I have any sympathy for him at all. So he's got one wife from Thailand, right?
Yes.
He's got another wife from Cuba. He's got three other wives before that, which we don't know anything about.
No.
In the middle, he's got this Lithuanian woman.
Girlfriend who's bunny's...
I mean, I'm surprised he had any time to do any plumbing.
Exactly. He's on his £50 house. No, he says, I separated from my Cuban wife, Anya, in early 2005.
Right.
And then I met Greta, this is the Lithuanian one, at a barbecue. Right? Now,
of course he met her at a barbecue. Where's he from, this guy?
Hertfordshire, I think.
Hertfordshire, okay.
Anyway, he says within a few weeks we moved in together. Now, she'd first come to England. This girl's got lucky, the Lithuanian Greta, who's got the £650,000 house.
Yeah.
He says she'd first come to England in the back of a lorry. And she got found out by the immigration authorities and kicked out. But then she was allowed back in after Lithuania joined the European Union.
Yeah, very nice.
She had two husbands she left behind in Lithuania and a grown-up daughter with her in England. But she had no money. Excuse me. In the start, this is a tragic story of a man in his 60s.
Well, it's a man who has been overwhelmed by the attentions of women when he should have known better, I think.
In the start, I think she cared about me, but then it was all money, money, money. What a surprise. Mr. Hoggins paid the £100,000 deposit for the £650,000 converted bond in Sawbridgeworth, Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
That's, I think, where the Beckhams have their house.
I know the place,
Yeah, you know it? Yeah, that's right. And the mortgage. He earned £150,000 from his plumbing firm, and he paid Miss Cernius Kaitai, the girlfriend, £93,000 a year to do nothing. I mean, that's not a good business.
What sort of an idiot
decision,
is this guy?
I don't know.
They should make a film out of this.
I don't know. So, to do literally nothing.
The plumber's mate.
That's right, yeah. He told the tribunal she had complained the house did not have enough wardrobe space for the £100,000 of clothes and jewellery which he bought her whilst they were together.
Dear God.
The judge, who was a lady, Anne McAllister, ruled that generous Mr. Hoggins gave her the house as a gift, right?
Yeah.
So Mr. Hoggins, who lives himself in a £480,000 house in Hoddesdon in Hertfordshire, said he'd paid for Miss Cernias Kaitai to have surgery and photo shoots. The photo shoots alone cost £10,000 a day. He said...
He's obviously mad, this guy.
He said, when I met her, she was earning £60 a week as a cleaner at the National Gallery. That's in London, isn't it? You know, it doesn't get you far, £60 a week in London.
No.
When we met, but after we got together in 2005 until she left 3 years ago, so they were together like 5 or 6 years, right?
Yeah.
she didn't do a single day's work in 6 years.
Right.
All she did for our 8 years together, all did for 8 years together, was go to the gym every day and make herself look pretty. And I paid for it all. I was working 12 hours.
Well, presumably at the time he was quite happy about that, though.
Well, it says here, he said, I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. She's completely transformed her body. She had liposuction. She went to Lithuania for breast implants.
It's like a comedy show.
Which I paid for. And had a whole new set of teeth, which I also paid for. Now she's got these modelling pictures all over the internet, and I paid for them.
Yeah.
She posed with my Bentley.
I think there's a pretty good chance that she might have been getting Rogerised by somebody else as well.
You can't say that, but I mean, there's a picture of Mr. Hoggins here, and he is a big fat guy. She posed with my Bentley and Aston Martin, but she's since kept the Bentley and sold it. And I've got no money back from her. And I've had to sell the Aston Martin to pay my bills.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, the guy's not going to get any sympathy from anybody, I don't think.
It's a tragic
story. He just
story.
sounds like he's been taken for a very long ride, and he's about to be taken for another one by his latest missus from Thailand.
I think you're right.
Dear me. Got loads of tweets to read out. We've got Ask Porky coming up very shortly. This is Talk Sport.
UEFA Champions League football live on Talk Sport.
Come on!
Tonight from 7, Roma clash with Real Madrid at the Stadio Olimpico.
It's a goal! With a beautiful volley! What a goal!
Full match commentary with a full-on post-match phone-in after all the action. UEFA Champions League football live on Talk Sport with Direct Line Van Insurance. For de facto 5-star rated van insurance, search Direct Line Van.
It's how London buys its cars. Car Giant.
To get behind the wheel of your dream car and to enjoy giant choice and giant savings, there's only one place you've got to go.
Car Giant, of course.
Car Giant.
Car Giant!
With up to 8,000 used cars in stock, don't dream it, drive it. Search our latest selection of vehicles now at cargiant.co.uk.
It's how London buys its cars. Car Giant.
Life is exciting.
Life is rewarding.
Now imagine your life enhanced with boundless opportunities.
A life where elite training gives you the edge.
Where travel and adventure are yours for the taking.
With roles from anti-piracy to counterintelligence. This is a life where you can realise your potential.
A life where you can make a difference.
All for as little as 24 fully paid days a year. Experience our way of life at Royal Naval Reserve Live. To find out about events in your area, search Navy Reserves.
Stronger, faster, smaller. Milwaukee Power Tools has launched the new M18 Fuel Combi Drill and Impact Driver Twin Pack, the most powerful of its kind. Now, for a limited time at participating stockists, when you buy the new M18 Fuel Twin Pack, you'll get a free M12 black heated jacket and battery worth £180. With 3 heat settings for optimal comfort, the M12 heated jacket is perfect for winter months, with a superior runtime of up to 8 hours of heat on one battery charge. Milwaukee Power Tools.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes podcast coming out a little bit later on. Ask Porky in the next hour. We haven't worked out what the quiz is going to be this week, by the way.
Quiz?
Let's have some thought about that
Yes.
before we finish the show tonight.
Yes.
You don't have to tell me now.
No, okay. Okay.
How about this from Jamie,
Yeah.
who's obviously some kind of military expert. He says, tell that plank Parry his hotel wouldn't have been targeted by an American Sidewinder because that's an air-to-air missile.
Yes, that's right, it is, yeah.
Well, so why were they firing it at a building?
I don't know, but it was a missile from an F-111. I saw it coming towards the building, actually. Dived behind the bed. It's the only thing that saved me when the roof caved in.
Yeah. Now, Becky says, I agree with Porky on the foie gras debate.
Yeah.
Poor treatment of animals. Feel the same about veal.
Yeah.
Humane treatment, please. Do you feel the same about veal?
I do, actually, yeah.
Well, you don't eat veal?
No, I don't eat veal.
You've never eaten veal?
I think
veal's
I did when I was younger, but I didn't realise what it was all about.
Oh,
to be
what?
honest.
When you were growing up in Chester, you ate a lot of veal, did you?
No. I think when I was in my sort of 20s, I was an aspiring, sort of big shot, Fleet Street big shot. I think I'd go out and people would order veal and say, oh, I'll have some of that. And then I realised that it was irresponsible. I didn't realise where it came from.
Yeah.
And I've never eaten veal for, decades, literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Woodenhead yesterday sent us a video, right, which was about...
Oh, it was fantastic.
But I
meant to mention it to you last night.
I couldn't watch it.
Why?
Because when I went to YouTube to watch it, it wasn't there.
Oh, well, where is it?
I don't know. It's disappeared.
Well,
Because he sent you a note saying, glad you enjoyed the video, Mr. Parry.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did enjoy it very much.
I went to look at it yesterday, and I couldn't...
Why haven't you got it? Well, can we ask Woodnett to send it to you then? And then
I got the link, but when I went through with the link to YouTube, it wouldn't play.
Why?
I don't know why.
I see. Are we going to mount this up on Two Mike's TV?
Well, we will if we can be still played.
Yes.
But I'm not sure it can be.
Well, maybe he needs to send us a different version of it or
maybe.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
so
maybe,
anyway,
what about the
Woodenhead-
version I've got? Should I...
Well, if he's listening to it, we'll see whether we can get him to send another version. But
Yes,
I'll try
please.
it again because I did want to check it out.
No, okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I
it's
still
very
haven't been
funny.
able to tell you about this garden story that I've been trying to tell you for about
Oh,
an
yeah,
hour.
yeah.
And there isn't really time now. But what I will tell you is that you know how you would probably imagine that if you had a south-facing garden, it would be worth quite a lot of money.
Well,
if
it's
you
a
were
big
selling
selling
the house.
point. When I was buying property in the the 30s, 40s, 50s years of my life, it was a huge selling point. South-facing garden.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you in the next hour that actually it's not as big a selling point as you thought.
Well,
and everyone's been conned.
Well, I'm telling you something.
Because the figures prove that it's not true.
That's a major revision of what property's all about.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you've hit on something there.
It is. And Derek says this from Pencoed lately. He says, a message from Porky. I don't clean at a school. If I did, I would clean there when school was finished. One of the sites I clean deals with work for the MOD. And a breakout area is where the staff go to make their drinks.
Oh, okay.
So he works in high security. So you should be very careful.
Okay.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes. Lots more to come. We've got loads of tweets to read out here. One from Steve, who says, slightly rotund. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to Mike Parry. And he says, I think MG is going soft. Mm-hmm. Which may well be true. I
thought
know.
I described you as slightly rotund. I normally do.
No, you normally describe me as fat.
No, I don't. The rotund one.
The rotund one is not slightly rotund, though.
Okay, well,
but it was when we were talking to the fat expert.
Yeah.
This one from Roy says, eating a bowl of vegetables is all well and good, but if you boil them into submission, a.k.a. a la Porky, the goodness is all gone.
No, you see, that's rubbish. You boil vegetables until they're just crispy, and then you put them in a bowl, and then you put lashings of gravy over them, and that's lovely. No problem at all.
That doesn't sound good. Depends where the gravy comes from as well, because if you buy gravy, then it's probably full of all sorts of MSG and things which are not very good for you.
You know, you're too critical of, and then you analyse food too.
No, I don't.
Too pettily.
I just quite
you're just a whinging moaner when it comes to food.
Like
you should just
nice
get on
food.
with it and eat it.
I made myself a curry last night, which was really nice.
I'm still going, and I don't have any problems with eating.
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with you.
Sorry?
If you had real problems with your heart, you would have to be so much more careful about your diet, you'd have to be so much more careful about your alcohol intake, and you don't have to worry about any of those things.
No.
Therefore,
I will not be cowed by my illness.
No, because there's nothing wrong with you.
I have dilated cardiomyopathy, right?
That's rubbish.
I'm sorry, but it's not rubbish. It is an absolute
Just
fact
because
of
you
life.
gave an interview to the Daily Mail that said it
No,
doesn't make it true.
No, you idiot. I spent 7 months in hospital waiting for a new
I'm
heart.
sure you did, but you didn't have that, because if you had that, you'd be dead now.
Because my heart somehow recovered, because it's mind over
But
matter.
nobody can explain it.
No, nobody could explain it. It was mind over matter.
Including
I willed
Dr. Banner.
myself back to a level of well-being, a bare level of well-being, which allowed me to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And then got on with life.
Well, that's why I want
I've
to
been
talk
doing
to
that for the last 10 years.
That's why I want to talk to Dr. Banner.
He won't talk to you.
Why not?
Because they don't talk to people about individual patients,
No, I see,
you know?
you're right. Dan says this, maybe that's what the song Pass the Duchy to the Left-Hand Side meant, so they didn't have any more of it.
That's not a bad one.
I thought that was about
Pass
passing
the
a joint.
Duchy on the left-hand
I thought it was about passing a joint.
What?
I thought it was about passing a joint.
The Dutchie's the bowl of food.
Are you sure?
Pass the Dutchie on the left-hand side. Pass the Dutchie
I always
on the
assumed it was about
left-hand side.
a marijuana cigarette.
What was the name of the group that did that?
Oh, I can't remember.
No, I can't either, but they're one of
They were
those
from
famous...
the Midlands, weren't they?
They're from the Midlands, and they're one of those famous groups that had one record, one number one hit, and were never heard of again.
Yeah.
Like the other one is Uptown...
It wasn't Musical Youth, was it?
Musical Youth.
Is
It
that
was
who it
Musical
was?
Youth. Yeah, well done. That was good,
okay.
yeah. The other one was Uptown Top Dancing. You know,
Uptown Top Ranking.
Uptown Top Ranking.
Not Top Dancing.
Uptown Top Ranking. There's nothing that we
wasn't the
sing.
song. No, that was not. There was a
Uptown
reggae song.
Top Ranking.
No, it was a reggae song.
It
There's
is
nothing like
all
that.
you bring.
That was two
Uptown
girls,
Top
wasn't it?
Ranking. Yeah, it was.
Uptown
Yeah.
Top Ranking.
Yeah, but they.
Now let me finish telling you this
they
story
were a
about the
one-off hit as
south-facing garden, which has now taken me an hour and a quarter to try and eke out of you.
Okay.
Right now, according to this study, which is by the insurance firm Direct Line, so they must know what they're talking
It
about.
increases the value of your house by only £88.
Yeah. something like, what is the percentage? I think it's something like 0.67%.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I did some research, you see, whilst you were...
Oh, you did? So, in fact, I can't even tell you the story now because you already know it.
No, you can tell me. Go on.
Well, it says here, an apartment on the 14th floor of a new development in Islington on sale for $850,000 is 30% more expensive than an identical property on the 3rd floor. So if you have a penthouse apartment, as you do, it should be worth a bit more money than the ones below you.
That's right. River views.
Which would presumably say that's in fitting entirely with your view of yourself being in a better position than other people living in your building.
Absolutely.
But basically, people with south-facing gardens can expect to make only 0.37% more than those with north-facing gardens.
Well, you know, it used to be honestly, it used to be a huge selling point in a south-facing garden, because what that meant was, you see, I always think, what's all this about? It meant you got sunlight all day, because if the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, then it goes in a halo over your house, doesn't it?
But what it also means is that your house can be very light, because I lived in a place in Glasgow, which is lovely. It was a little townhouse. And I didn't really think about it, because I literally flew up there one day, was driven around about 7 or 8 different places. Because the office was renting it for me, and I went, this will do. Never thinking that in Glasgow the light isn't brilliant anyway.
No.
But all the windows in the place faced one side of the street.
Right.
And that was it.
Right.
And that side of the street was north.
Right.
So it was a very, very dark apartment. So much so that you almost all through the day, you'd have to have the lights on.
Yeah, well, that's not good. That's not a good environment to live in.
But then I didn't know I was going to be living there for as long as I did. You know?
No, exactly, yeah.
I was only going for 3 months.
I think you'll find that same report says that a river view increases the value of a house by like 8% or 10%.
But is that true now, depending on how the flooding goes?
Well, it depends where it is.
Because if you're in, if you've got a place that's right by a river now, because have you noticed lately that if you're filling out a form for, say, home contents insurance, they ask you how close you are to water.
No, I haven't. I haven't filled one of those out.
Well, they do. They
ask
you how close you are to water.
Yeah, but you see, if you're smarter than the average bear like me, you have property which is at least 20 feet above the ground. Okay, all my property is 20 feet above the ground.
But if you have a house, obviously that's not the case, because you have the whole house and you have a garden.
Well, I do have houses, but they're not near rivers, and they're usually at the top of a hill.
You've got houses as well as flats.
Of course.
This is news to me.
No, of course
you didn't tell me you had houses.
Of course I have.
Well, how many houses have you got?
Portfolio. I've got 2 at the moment.
2 houses?
Yes.
At the moment?
Yes.
And where are they?
One's in Surrey.
Yeah.
And the other one...
Why don't you live in it?
Sorry?
Why don't you live in it?
Because I don't want to live in a house.
Why not?
Actually, funny enough, it is near a river, actually, but it's a tributary river called the Wandle, which is in Surrey.
But the thing is, you can see how, with the flooding that we've had over the last couple of years, I mean, a tributary river which looks very benign can suddenly become like a raging torrent.
Indeed.
Overnight.
Indeed.
So have you rented these out then, these houses?
They are occupied by other people, absolutely, yes. Yeah. What's the problem?
Nothing.
Listen, talking about that, by the way, talking
go
about that and houses and that kind of stuff, I've seen a report in the last couple of days which examines the type of person who gets involved in the B&B thing. Where, when you go to another city or something like that. Now, you were talking about us going to the Edinburgh Festival.
Yes.
And you said, I don't know what we can do about hotels.
Well, all I'm saying is that the hotels are almost always packed out.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But so what people do is they go and stay in other people's houses, right?
Well, Beyonce did it, didn't she, when she went to the Super Bowl?
Did she?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. She got an Airbnb. She got a very luxurious Airbnb.
But the point is, as it quite rightly says in the report I saw about it, because I'd look at it to see how it's going to affect, the value of my property and all that kind of stuff, it means that complete strangers might spend a week in your house while you're away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I'd never go back and live in that house again. I won't have strangers living in my house.
But you rent out the houses that you own.
Yes, but I don't go back and live in them. Nobody's ever lived in my house that I live in now.
Right.
I bought it.
Well, that's fair enough.
Refurbished the whole thing.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
From top to bottom. Put everything new in it, and I'm the only one who's ever lived there.
Right.
And it's similar with my place on the coast. That was brand new. That was a new buy, a new build. And nobody's ever lived in that except me.
Would you not be happy buying a house that somebody else had lived in prior to you, is what I'm saying?
Well, you have to.
I mean, you must have done in the past.
You have to. And as I say, the one I live in now in Surrey, I didn't live in it for the first 3 months. I had it gutted. I literally, first of all, I had all the carpets taken out.
Right.
I had all the wallpaper taken off and all that kind of stuff. Everything.
Well, that's not unusual.
No. And then I had the kitchen torn out. Had the bathrooms torn out.
Right.
I had the ceilings redone, and I got the whole thing redone.
Yeah.
So by the time I moved in, there wasn't 1 square inch of the carpet, the walls, the ceiling, the work surfaces.
Which wasn't brand new.
Exactly, the whole thing was brand new.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And was that a very expensive operation?
Not particularly.
No.
Each bathroom only cost about 5 or 6 grand.
Yeah.
The kitchen cost about 12.
How many bathrooms have you got?
2.
In a flat?
Yeah. Of course I have,
Well,
yeah.
you've got 2 bathrooms in a flat full.
Because I've explained this to you before. One is a shower room, the wet room, and the other one is a bathroom with a bath in it.
The triangular bath.
That's right, absolutely. And the kitchen wasn't that expensive.
How much was that?
About 15 or 16 grand. You know, with all
Not
the
that
fittings and
expensive.
appliances.
So far you spent
appliances.
40 grand.
Yes.
You just said it wasn't very expensive.
The carpets were about 12 grand.
Right. The 52 grand.
The decoration, because I had it all painted 3 times to make sure.
Why 3 times?
Well, I didn't want any semblance of the previous paint or anything to, ever show through or anything.
They must have seen you coming this lot.
No.
How much did the painting cost?
About 7.5 or 8
So
grand.
that's up to 60 grand.
Well, maybe something like that.
How much did you pay for the place?
It was an absolute bargain. I paid 180,000 for it.
Right.
It's now worth £500,000.
Is it?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
it. It was a great
So
deal.
£180, but you spent probably nearly not far off half of that, certainly more than a third,
I would say
in
so.
redoing it.
Well, the light fittings alone, because
Yeah.
I had light fittings in every room, cost about another 5 grand.
That's 65,000.
Because they were all, they weren't just like a light in the top of the ceiling. They were sunken lights into the ceiling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you have to do from
Those are a pain in the neck, though, to replace, aren't they?
No, they're not really. There's like a wire clip that you take out, and then it drops out on the end of a lead, and you just unscrew it, put a new bulb in. And
Yeah, but I'm saying in
put 'em
terms of
back.
getting the bulbs, you have to go to a special place to get the
No,
bulbs.
you don't. No, you buy them in Tesco's. I buy
Are
them
you
in
sure?
Tesco's. Yeah, absolutely certain. Yeah, and then I had my office fitted out, but that needed rewiring.
Yeah.
For all the the printers and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. You
all
know
the
what I mean?
printers. How many printers you got?
One. But it does lots of different things.
Right.
It's an imager and all that kind of
Hey,
stuff.
by the way, have you seen that story about 3D printers?
Well,
we'll talk to you about this in a
I
minute.
don't understand what a 3D printer
No.
is. Talking about manufacturing human organs
That's
on a
it.
3D printer.
Yeah.
Well, how does that work?
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Indeed.
Let's see if we can figure it out. This is Talk Sport.
Hawksby and Jacobs.
Apparently, this show's much better when it all goes wrong.
What a surprise that is.
This afternoon from 1.
What do you think of Supertramp?
And we got Ask Porky coming up very, very shortly. We've got plenty of questions, by the way, but if you send one in under the wire and it gets in because it's very, very good, then you may still have a chance of having it read out. Now, I've got a couple of people commenting on the old Pass the Dutchie. Ben in Birmingham says, Pass the Dutchie was originally a song called Pass the Cutchie, which means, as you originally thought, passing a joint. And Peoples in London says the original Pass the Dutchie was about smoking weed. The musical youth version is about passing food.
Yes, that's right.
So there you go.
But I mean, you can, it's almost certain that coming from the culture of sort of reggae land and all that kind of stuff, it probably was about a cannabis joint.
Well, I think
wasn't
the
it?
original one was.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Yeah.
So there we are. Now, let me tell you about this. Now, I'm like you. I'm not absolutely certain about this whole 3D printing business,
Yes.
right? But the word is that now they're talking about, because I've seen stories about where they were talking about 3D printing buildings. 3D printing printers.
Can somebody explain to me how you get matter out of a printer? I just don't understand.
Well, I think that's the bit that nobody understands.
And now
we'll have to get an expert on.
And now human tissue.
Yeah.
What on earth are you talking about? What kind of a machine is this?
Scientists
Sounds
apparently
like a Doctor Who machine.
Published in one of your journals, right?
Yes.
This is called Nature Biotechnology. I don't know if you get that one on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But they say basically that they've worked out this technology now, which is, they say, a goose that literally lays the golden egg. Mm-hmm. And what they do is that the Wake Forest Baptist Medical Centre have developed a new technique that 3D prints a tissue riddled with microchannels, a bit like a sponge.
Yes.
So now nutrients to penetrate the tissue.
Yes.
So I guess they then insert that into your body. And when the structures were implanted into animals, the plastic broke down as it was replaced by a natural structure matrix of proteins produced by the cell. Yeah. And meanwhile, blood vessels and nerves grew around it.
I still don't get it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And this idea...
That means you could actually really, grow your own body parts.
I'm sorry, that's Frankenstein-type medical theory to me. Not having it.
Blimey, there's one here about women given lab-grown vaginas at the Wake Forest Centre.
Oh, please, did you have to raise that on
Why?
a family show?
What do you mean?
Goodness gracious.
I don't know what you would do with one of those.
That's terrible.
Well, we'll get an expert on to explain
You don't have
it.
transplants in that part of the body, so what on earth are you talking about?
Well, it can be done, I think.
Oh, no.
Why is that
please.
making you feel unwell?
Because
Why are you squeamish about that word?
Revoltingly intimate body surgery, which I don't wish to even contemplate, you know?
You're such a square at times, aren't you?
No.
All right, let's see. Here's one from the Cone Master, who says, Pass the Dutchie is a bowl of food, I think, in musical use used to live 4 doors from me in Birmingham.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And James says a Dutchie is a Jamaican cooking pot.
Yeah, well, told you that,
And while there was not much reason to pass one around, it was an acceptable substitute for the original lyric, which was, as he says, about the coochie, which is a pot that holds marijuana.
Absolutely.
Originally done in 1982 by the Mighty Diamonds.
Oh,
who were
really?
a reggae band.
Oh, I see. Oh, so it wasn't their own record then?
No, Musical Youth were a bit of a sort of manufactured pop outfit, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you something about something a little bit more uplifting, right?
Yeah, go on.
Well, it's not uplifting. It's a bloke who's died, but I mean, you know, no, but I mean...
Well, how is that uplifting?
Well, I'll tell you why it's uplifting, because the guy I'm talking about is a guy called Norman Hudis, and he was the scriptwriter for the Carry On films.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's a pretty good contribution to life, isn't it?
Actually, you just reminded me, because I forgot to mention this to you the other day. Have you seen that they're going to remake Are You Being Served?
No.
You haven't seen that? How did that pass you by? It was in the papers the other day.
No, it can't be.
Yeah, they are. They're going to remake Are You Being Served?
Well, if it's greeted with as much enthusiasm as the remake
of Dad's Army film,
yeah,
and it hasn't gone down well, has it?
It's got shocking reviews, absolutely shocking reviews.
Well,
Everybody
I can't
said,
understand why you would want to remake anything like that.
Well, Are You Being Served was fantastic. I got a reward from John Inman.
Yeah,
John Inman.
A reward.
An award.
Oh, an
award. Mr.
Right.
Brazil and I got a Royal Variety Club award.
Did you?
At a ceremony in a hotel in Grosvenor Square, next to the American Embassy.
What did you get that for? Did you make a donation to charity?
No, it was literally contributions to radio.
Oh, yeah.
And I at that award, I sat next to a woman who had the most voluptuous figure you can imagine, right? I mean, I'm not
Was she
joking.
famous?
No, but she was the wife of somebody who was there, who was a bigwig in the show business world. Okay,
right.
And she sat next to me, and she had the most shapely bust I've ever seen.
Right, chest.
Yeah, only half of which was covered. Right. And after the lunch went ahead and all that kind of stuff, and then a few days later, I got a note sent to me here at Talk Sport.
Yeah.
And it's from her, and she said, "Dear Mr. Parry, it was such a delight to see you." It was a Sunday lunch, actually, to see you at the Royal Variety lunch at the Grosvenor Hotel, or wherever it was. I can't remember where it was now.
Right.
On Sunday, she said, "For the first time in a long time, I sat next to a real gentleman who did not spend the entire lunch staring down my cleavage."
Really?
Yeah.
That's an unusual note to send someone.
Yeah. Well,
Do you think she was coming on to you?
It then went on to say...
she was of Lithuania, was she?
No. She was English and blonde and everything, And she said, I thought the conversation was delightful, telling me about your experiences in journalism.
Yeah.
And
so you were telling her all about yourself?
Well, she asked about it. And then she said...
2 hours later.
And then she said, and just so that you don't forget me... I've enclosed a little keepsake. Thank you very much, and her name.
And what was the keepsake?
A picture of her naked breasts.
What?
Yes.
Picture of her naked breasts.
Yes. Honestly.
And what did you do about this?
Well, what do you expect me to do? I mean, yeah. It was
in a locked room.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing, and she wasn't.
Well, did you not ask her out?
She was married to a bloke who was at the lunch.
Yeah.
Who was sitting on the other side of her.
You before.
No. I couldn't possibly.
Well, you couldn't possibly go out with somebody who was married.
Well, funny enough, I remember distinctly when the note came to me, it didn't have any contact details at all.
Really?
I mean, I hadn't asked her for a phone number or anything like that.
What sort of age was she?
Early 30s,
really?
mid-30s, something like that. There was no phone number, there was no address, no email, nothing. Didn't use email much in those days. It was just the straight note with the picture of her naked topless.
Right.
Yeah.
How unusual.
Very unusual. And the point is,
and she never contacted you again?
Never contacted me again. She wasn't a actress, as far as I could tell.
Right.
I showed the picture to people, and they didn't recognise her.
Which picture?
The picture she showed me. You said, look at that, it's not unusual, and that kind of stuff.
I mean, her face was in it as well.
Oh, her face was in it. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, it was a topless picture of her, So she wasn't a model. She definitely wasn't a lady of the street or anything like that, telling her business.
Certainly hope not.
Well, there was no contact numbers.
Sure?
And there was no way of contacting her.
Was she wearing a wedding ring?
I didn't notice, to be honest.
You didn't notice?
Sure. I'm not sure. I don't know whether... She was definitely married, because she introduced this other chap who never spoke a word during the lunch.
Yeah.
Even though I got a bit flirtatious with her at one point.
Oh, you got a bit flirtatious?
Well, just a little, and I said, how charming you look today and all this kind of stuff, and, what do you do when you're not attending Royal Variety lunches and all that kind of stuff,
Right. And what did she say?
Oh, just general sort of small talk and all that. But he didn't say a word. He never spoke during the whole lunch.
Right.
It was a really strange arrangement, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Oh, very
it
odd.
was, but anyway, look, I was talking about this chap Norman Hoodis, right?
Yes.
He wrote all the best lines in all the Carry-On films. He wrote the first 6 entirely and then pushed off to Hollywood to pursue another great career. But he wrote the very first one, Carry On Sergeant.
Right.
He wrote Carry On Cruising. He wrote Carry On Constable, Carry On Regardless, Carry On Teacher, and Carry On Nurse.
Okay.
How
He
about that?
recently passed away.
He's recently passed away,
Right.
yeah. And
so he didn't do the later ones then, I suppose?
he didn't do the later ones, but, I mean, he set the tone for the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He also did some of the auditioning for the actors and actresses and introduced Hattie Jakes to the world of film. She was just a stage actress then,
Right.
And we can thank him for the whole
genre.
Genre.
Yes.
Now, what he based it on...
And they are bringing out a new Carry On film, aren't they?
I didn't know
Am I
that.
not right in saying that?
Is that right?
I think they're working on another one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, what he all based it on was this guy, was a bit of an academic. He was, he was big in literature and all that.
Right.
And he said, no, I based all the Carry-On films on the works of Chaucer and Shakespeare.
Oh, the Canterbury Tales.
Yeah, but he said mostly Chaucer.
Yeah.
He said the comic lines I wrote for Hattie Jakes, Sid James and Kenneth Williams and Kenneth Connor may have not been great literature, but the bawdiness I'd put in them I derived from the Chaucer, Canterbury Tales written by Chaucer.
Yeah, Canterbury. I remember there was a great TV programme that was made back in the sort of early 70s, I think it was. I remember watching it, about the Canterbury Tales. Remember that?
No. Yes, I do. Yeah,
it was about sort of 10 or 12-part series.
Yeah, series, yeah, like the Miller's Tale and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was quite bawdy, but it's very well done.
Yeah. So, anyway, he goes to America, right?
Yeah.
After writing the first 6, and then he invented a new spy series and wrote all the scripts for that. It was called The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
So he'd done pretty well then.
He'd done pretty well indeed.
Yeah.
He then went on to be the chief writer on a show that was already established called Hawaii Five-0.
Excellent. Book him, Dano.
Yeah, book him, Dano, yeah. And what else happened then? He was Carry-On films. He was asked to come back.
So he stayed in America, presumably, for
he
most
stayed
of his
in
life.
America. He was asked to come back and write more Carry-On films, but by that time he said that...
Sounds like a very successful life in the TV business.
But I mean, what a life he's had. What a life.
Tremendous.
Incredible to invent the Carry-On films. Fantastic.
Well, also to do all the other stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, coming up, we've got Ask Porky.
Oh, yes.
So you've only got a few nanoseconds, really, to get a question in. We've got loads of them, and we'll be covering a lot of ground. This is TalkSport.
Bienvenue au weekend sports breakfast avec Michelle Quinn and Georgie Bingham.
Hey! Oh, really, Mickey?
Every Saturday and Sunday morning from 7 on TalkSport with Renault Pro Plus centres. It's the breakfast show that cooks up a souffle of sport and a pan of chocolat of pre-match build-up.
There's no need to milk it, Mickey.
The hors d'oeuvre to another big weekend feast of football. The Weekend Sports Breakfast on TalkSport with Renault Pro Plus centres. Dedicated experts who'll keep you moving. Fantastique.
Employers across the UK, however small the business, will soon have to offer a workplace pension. Don't ignore the workplace pension. It's the law. Visit workplacepensions.gov.uk.
An incredible new you starts with Nicorette Quick Mist Rapid Relief Mouth Spray. It gets to work on your cravings fast, making you 150% more likely to quit for good compared to willpower alone. Nicorette Quick Mist. Do something incredible. Stop smoking aid. Contains nicotine. Requires willpower. Always read the label.
Oh, what did I do last night? Hang on. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, no. Sent to Mum?
Everybody makes mistakes. But if you've been convicted of a driving offence or have been banned from driving, at MCE Insurance, we don't judge. For car, van or motorcycle insurance, visit mceinsurance.com today and put your past behind you. MCE Insurance, title sponsor of the MCE British Superbikes.
Coming up next on TalkSport with the two mics, it's time for Ask Porky. It's your favourite agony uncle, and he'll be trying to solve as many problems as he can in the space of about 10 minutes. Coming up on the Sports Breakfast this morning, we've got Alan Brazil joined by Ray Wilkins. They'll be looking ahead to tonight's live Champions League commentary of Roma against Real Madrid. Harry Redknapp's on the show as well. Lots more guests as well. This is TalkSport. Time for the sports headlines.
Good morning. As you heard live and in full on TalkSport, Chelsea were beaten by PSG in their Champions League last 16 tie, but do have what could prove to be a crucial away goal. They lost the first leg 2-1 in France. The return match is at Stamford Bridge in 3 weeks. Hull have doubled their lead at the top of the Sky Bet Championship to 2 points. They were held to a goalless draw by Brighton, who are now up to third. Blackburn ended a run of 9 games without a league win by beating Fulham 3-0. Motherwell comfortably won 3-0 at bottom side Dundee United. The result moves them out of the Scottish Premiership's relegation playoff spot in the Scottish Cup. There were wins for Rangers and Hibs. Finally, onto rugby union, and it's been announced that Ireland will play New Zealand in the USA. They'll meet in Chicago in November. All the very latest sports news is on the website talksport.com.
The FA Cup 5th round, live on TalkSport.
And it's a goal!
Saturday from noon, join Matt Smith for a Matchday Live FA Cup special. Get all the build-up ahead of full match commentary of Arsenal versus Hull.
What a goal!
From 3, it's Watford showdown with Leeds.
They're back in the lead!
Followed by Bournemouth versus Everton from 5:15.
Oh my word!
Then Sunday from 1, it's a Sunday exclusive FA Cup special. Here, live full match commentary of Blackburn Rovers versus West Ham. Followed at 4 by Chelsea versus Manchester City.
It's a goal!
Then Monday night from 7, it's a kick-off FA Cup special. Full match commentary of Shrewsbury versus Manchester United. The FA Cup 5th round, live on TalkSport.
Of course, signals that it's time for Ask Porky, which is everybody's favourite advice slot, I suppose you might say.
Yes.
Because lots of people have sent in loads of questions, and we've got many more than we can ever get through.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm just going to get straight to it.
Let's get to it.
And here's one from, first of all, Josh, who sent us in on Twitter. He says, it's a bit late, this one, but can you answer it? I have an English and media degree, but I'm also a qualified electrician and working as a sparky. I'm considering doing a law degree and progressing my career in that direction.
Right.
But what do you think I should do, Porky?
Well, I think you should go and try and make the best of your life, because you only get one life, and that's what you've got to do. Now, if you're already if you're already a qualified electrician, a sparky, and we used to have sparkies in our business, by the way. They used to set up the lights for interviews, but we don't need them anymore because the lights are actually contained in the cameras now. But if you are already a qualified electrician, you can do one of two things. You can either work 12 or 14 hours a day for yourself and earn a good living, or take a step back and start your own company and employ other electricians to build an electrical business, i.e. you put yourself in the yellow pages or the equivalent these days on the internet. You set up a business, and when people have electrical problems, they blow a fuse, they need as I do, they need a waste disposal replacing because it's burnt out or something like that, then they call you and you do it. If, however, you've decided on a change of career, then what you should do is you become a part-time electrician to fund your studies, you study at night school, you study law, you become a BLL, which is a Bachelor of Law, and you then become
an LLB.
An LLB as well. You can become a Bachelor of Law or a double LB. It depends which university you go to, BA Law or double LB, it doesn't matter. And you then try and progress in the business of law. But let me tell you this. Since the days when I was at school, when you got a law degree and it meant you got great riches in life, getting a law degree now is an awful lot more difficult to make a decent living out of law, because so many people have got law degrees you can't get pupillage in barristers' chambers. So I'd think twice about becoming a lawyer just because it sounds more respectable. If I were you and you've already got a degree or a qualification in the electrical business, I'd personally stick with that.
OK, Pete says this on Facebook. As we are being encouraged to show respect to Mr. Parry, I thought I'd ask what are the 3 most honourable things he has done so far in his life.
The 3 most honourable things I've done in my life are...
I thought you might struggle with this one.
No. A commitment to helping sick and injured and needy animals, which has been a lifelong passion of mine. My commitment to the Christian way of life, so that I do not I do not hurt, injure or offend other human beings. And the third one is to make sure that whatever success I achieve in life, I share widely with others.
OK.
Yes.
Here's a more personal one. You, Kelly Brook and Saran Jones are on a sinking dinghy. One of you needs to go overboard. Who goes in the drink?
I would throw myself overboard.
I think they might throw you overboard.
No, they would not. No, I would. How could they possibly? If the dinghy had a little hole in it, it was sinking. Okay.
Yeah.
But we knew through our knowledge of physics that two of us could survive, but one had to go. There is no question about it. I would not for one moment suggest that one of the ladies should get out. I would say, ladies, I'm going for a swim now. I may be some time, which, of course, is the famous quote from Captain Oates.
That's right.
On the ill-fated Antarctic expedition.
Joseph says this on Facebook. Is Mike able to please share any information in regard to Millhouse, the TB-infected cat? I often wonder if he's still out there coughing away.
Well, Millhouse is the one that rushed up the M1, wasn't it?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. No, I've got no information on it, which only leads me to believe and hope that the cat perished in some way. I wouldn't want the cat to have died a painful life. I would not have wanted it to have been run down by a lorry on the M1. I can only assume that it crawled off into a ditch somewhere and sadly perished through waste. It just went. But, I mean, it had to go. It was a diseased cat, and we can't have diseased, feral cats running around.
No, here's one from Si. It says, I've got an opportunity with work that would take me to Lithuania. Would Porky suggest going for it or not? After that story you told us, I'm not sure about the guy who got married 5 times.
No, exactly. I went to Lithuania, and that's where the Germans have moved in massively in Lithuania. There's a huge amount of investment in Lithuania. It's a go-ahead country, but I mean, you've got to take your choice on this one. They don't speak English as their main language, although lots of people there speak English. It runs under a different set of rules. You've got to remember that its culture's based on the Eastern Bloc, on Soviet thinking, Russian thinking. That's different to our thinking. Go there by all means, but don't commit yourself when you go. Go on a temporary basis of 3 months and see what you think. There are opportunities. It's a growing economy, there's no doubt about it, but you may not adapt to the culture.
Yeah, no, here's one that's along a similar vein from World Traveller. He says, please, Porky, if due to fame and to escape fan attention you had to leave the UK, where else in the world would you live?
Well, there's only one other place to go where you could, one or two other places you can go to live a civilised life in an environment in which you feel comfortable. For me, the choices would be, firstly, America, secondly, Australia, third, Canada. Now, you say, well, hang on, yes, they are all former countries within the British Commonwealth, and America, of course, used to be owned by Britain until it became the biggest country in the world of its own right, but they're the cultures that I most recognise with. That's where I'd want to go and live. They speak English, all of them, and they have the same attitude to life, family, religion to a certain extent, and certainly culture that I enjoy.
OK. How about this one from, what's his name, Matthew? He says, Porky, I let the wife's cat out of the house on Saturday afternoon and the thing hasn't come back. The wife is heartbroken. What shall I do to make it up to her?
Well, I'm often amazed that when I walk down suburban streets, I do a lot of walking to keep my heart in shape. Only 1/3 of it works, you see. And
so I've heard.
And I see all these posters nailed on trees all over the place from people whose cats have gone missing. Now, I think you've got to put a chip in cats and maybe dogs as well, because so many of them go missing so often, it can't be a coincidence. Somebody's kidnapping dogs and kidnapping cats, of that I'm certain. And therefore, you either keep a very close leash on your cat, i.e. keep it confined within your own garden area, or tie it up or whatever you want to do, but put a chip in it. One of these days, we'll have tracker chips in animals, and that can't come soon enough.
No, indeed. Well, some of them do already.
Yes.
I mean, my dog's got a chip in it.
Yeah, but has it got a tracker chip?
Well, it's not a tracker chip.
No, but
it
I'm
means
saying
that you can find out where it belongs to.
No, I'm saying a chip that you can trace your dog by having a tracker chip which bounces off a satellite and tells you where it is. Well, in much the same way as in a James Bond movie, if you put a tracker on the back of a car and then they bleep, 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 they can follow the car. You can follow your dog or your cat.
OK. I have a northern girlfriend, says Lee on Twitter, up in Manchester. Should I move up there? Right now I live in Essex.
I would take every opportunity to explore the possibility of moving to Northern England. I do love the latest sort of crime and police things, which all seem to be based in Manchester. You know, the one at the moment, Happy Valley, is in Hebden Bridge in Yorkshire, beautiful town. The one before that, the two girl detectives, Sir Ann Jones, forgotten what it's called now, that's based in Manchester.
Something in Bailey, isn't it?
Yeah, Scott and Bailey. It's a wonderful part of the world, Northern England. The only difficulty you will have is that if you are used to earning within the economy of Southern England, you will have to get a better job for that money to be replicated in Northern England, where the economy is pitched at a different level.
That's okay. This one from Stephen. He says, I'm working on a script on Porky's life story. Who would he choose to play the lead? The working title is The Fool of Fleet Street.
The Fool of Fleet Street. I think it would have to be that Ed Redmayne at the moment, because he looks a lot like me when I was his age.
Has he Redmayne?
Yeah.
Doesn't look anything like you.
Isn't he the guy who won last night?
Oh, the guy from the Danish Girl or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's him, yeah. Or
I don't think
actually...
he looks anything like you. He played Stephen Hawking as well.
No, I don't mean him. I mean the singer guy who wins all the awards, you know. He's had 4
you mean Ed
hits.
Sheeran?
Ed Sheeran.
He's not an actor, though.
Well, he could be, because lots of these singers go into acting. Ed Sheeran's the answer.
OK. How about this one from Alan? What's the difference in a caucus and a primary in the USA elections, and how do you vote for a Republican or a Democratic candidate?
Well...
It's a bit of a technical one, this.
It's a bit technical, and it would take me hours to explain. But basically, a caucus is old-fashioned. It goes right back to the start of the Constitution in America. You know, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth amendments. A caucus is a gathering of people. You gather in a school or a village hall or a town hall or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's basically it's a nomination of a candidate to step forward to go to Washington as part of the electoral college process.
Yeah.
A primary, which is practiced more by the Republican parties than the Democrats, is in fact a voting process where you vote in a ballot. You don't vote in ballots in the caucus. It's by show of hand, and it has to be a public gathering. You can't do it anonymously.
Yeah, and you can only vote for Republican or Democrat if you're a registered voter.
Exactly, if you're registered
you have to be
voters,
registered
yeah.
to vote for each one.
Yeah.
One from David who says, Dear Mike, if you could kill someone and get away with it, who would it be?
I don't really want to kill anybody, to be honest.
That's good to hear.
You know, my Christian beliefs are that you kill somebody, then you suffer damnation. You can't take somebody else's life. However, there is one individual in the world who, if I was given freedom from damnation to remove from this earth, but you know, not in a horrible way, I would make a nomination, but that will remain between me and my conscience.
Yeah, well, Kieran says on that basis, with Porky being a true Christian, I wonder what he's given up for Lent.
Giving up for Lent is something in my head. It's not something which I physically do. For instance, anybody who says, "Oh, I'm giving up drink for Lent," "Oh, I'm giving up tea," "Oh, I'm giving up," you know, this. It's just gestures. What you do is you mentally attune yourself to doing something over the period of Lent, which you haven't done before, which you should do, and it's the mental strength that you test within yourself, not your physical strength.
Final one from Pierre on Facebook: Should Britain leave the EU and apply to become the 51st state of America?
I would, if somebody came to me and said the options are Europe or 51st State of America, I'd go 51st State of America every single time.
OK. Well, that's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
More questions for Ask Porky, of course, than we could possibly ever get through. Apologies we didn't reach one of yours, but we'll keep hold some of them and see if we can do some of them next week. Coming up, we're going to have to decide what the Porky quiz is going to be on Thursday night. This is TalkSport.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
And he struck it in with only seconds to go.
Also available on all mobile devices.
The Football Club.
TalkSport.
Pass the country on the left hand side. Pass the country on the left hand side. Quitado ya no. Pass the country on the left hand side. Pass the country.
This is the original one by the Mighty Diamonds.
Yeah, it's a bit slow,
1982.
isn't it? I'm glad the what are they called? Culture Youth or something?
Musical Youth.
Musical Youth. I'm glad they
Why have you got no short-term memory
speed
at
up
all?
again. I have got short-term memory. I've got a lot of facts in my head all at once, all at the same time.
Well,
See what I
speaking
mean?
of which, why not come up with a thing for a quiz? Because Ian says, how about a carry-on quiz? We've already done that.
Yeah, we have done. Yeah, we have done
Oh,
that.
you got about
yes.
3 out of 10 on that
I
one.
thought of one over the weekend. And I thought, oh, that's a perfect subject.
Really?
And then I should have written it down because it's sort of gone out of my head.
Right. Was it something because of a timely situation, like an anniversary or something like that?
It was something historical. Look, I tell you what. As soon as I talked to Sandra on Friday, who's our Australian correspondent, what about Captain Cook?
Captain Cook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think we've done Captain Cook. We have done Australia before.
Are we?
Yeah, we did the Orange of Australia.
We can't do that then. We can't do that. No, let's have something original, OK?
All right.
Right, something original.
Well, you've got 10 minutes to think about it.
10 minutes, OK, that's fine. Yeah, OK, yeah. Give me 10 minutes. Yeah, OK. Now, meanwhile, we'll talk about something else, OK?
Yeah, Sheehan says, how about Christianity or the Bible? But I think we've done those as well.
No, we've done those. Yeah, don't need to do those again. Don't worry about that. No need to do those again. I tell you what it could be. Let me think. I know, the works of Who are the authors that I have most studied during my lifetime? We've done Shakespeare, haven't we?
We've done Shakespeare, I think.
Shakespeare,
I think we have.
yeah,
I say we've done it. I'm pretty sure we have.
We've done Shakespeare.
We've done Dickens as well.
Oh, I know what I wanted to do.
How about Thomas Mann?
No, have we done Sir Francis Drake?
I don't think we have.
Right, I want to do Sir Francis Drake.
Sir Francis Drake.
Yes, please, yeah. One of my great heroes.
I'll pass that on to the independent quizmasters.
Yeah, after Nelson, then it's Sir Francis Drake.
Okay.
That
David Lynch talking about the Dingwalls show that we're going to do, hopefully in a couple of months' time.
Oh,
I
yes.
haven't been to Dingwalls since the 70s, but saw many amazing groups there, including AC/DC and the Ramones.
No, that's fantastic.
And then Manager calls himself that on Twitter. Last time I was there, I saw Ian Dury and the Blockheads.
Oh, yeah, he was great. Yeah, Ian Drury's an amazing guy because he was born with polio.
He was.
But he got through all that and became like a top star.
Did you see that movie they made about him?
No.
Didn't you? It was very good.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was very good.
I read a story about him when he died, like all the obituaries and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And apparently, because he had this polio, right,
Yeah.
which he fought against all his life and which he largely ignored, the area of his body where he didn't feel any pain.
Yeah.
Because polio basically wrecks your nervous system, doesn't it? You know, in parts of your
Well, I
body
saw
and
him
all that.
perform at the Concerts of Kampuchea back in the late 70s at Hammersmith. He was on stage with The Clash, which was fantastic. And every now and again he would just fall over.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then somebody would pick him up and stand him back up at the microphone.
Well, anyway, he goes into an expensive restaurant somewhere in, I don't know where, like the south of France, I think, and Omar Sharif was in there.
Oh, yeah.
And
playing backgammon or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he got bladderated. And anyway, he went up and introduced himself to Omar Sharif.
Yeah.
And, Omar Sharif was a very gracious man.
As you do.
Very polite man and all that kind of stuff. And he said, look, I wanted to say hello to you. And Omar Sharif expected them to say, because I'm a great admirer and all that kind of stuff. But then, who were we talking about?
We're talking about Ian Drury.
Ian Drury, that's right. Then, and
the Blockheads.
Yeah, that just went out of my mind for a minute. And then Ian Drury said, but quite frankly, Omar, you've nicked a living, you have. And Sharif said, I beg your pardon, He said, well, you were useless on that camel in that film, you crap and all this kind of stuff.
That's a bit harsh.
And then started insulting him more and more. And then said that he was the equivalent of a male prostitute because, all he ever did was prostitute himself in films just so he'd sleep with good-looking women. And in the end, Omar Sharif had enough, stood up and punched him in the face and knocked him over.
Oh, dear.
And he just got up and started abusing him again.
Right.
So Omar Sharif had him thrown out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But the point is, he didn't feel the pain for some unknown reason.
Well, even in his face.
Well, I don't know, but he just said it didn't bother
Well,
him.
it might have something to do with the fact that he was completely smashed off his head.
Well, it could be, yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he was what they would describe as a colourful character.
Yeah, colourful, yeah. Well, I mean, some of those words to his songs, like hit me with your rhythm stick, hit me.
Yeah.
Ooh la la la, quick, quick, quick.
Yeah, it's not quite that. Something similar to that.
Something like that kind of stuff.
Have you got that album?
On the road
Have you got that album?
No. On the road
What do you mean, no? Why not?
Well, I mean, it's all right.
It's one of the great albums to have, isn't it?
Yeah. What is
New Boots and Panties by Ian Drury.
No, what do you collect that for?
I mean, it's one of the great albums of the time.
One decent song, Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. And
you didn't like Sweet Gene Vincent?
No, the only other one...
like Bill Ricky Dickey?
Never heard of it. The only other one I remember is Are You Coming to the Party, the Boston Tea Party.
Uh-huh.
Are you coming to the party? Are you coming to the
song?
Yeah, Boston Tea Party. Are you coming to the party? Yeah, that's an Ian Drury song. The Boston
Why
Tea
do you keep
Party.
saying Ian Drury?
What's his name?
It's Drury without an R.
Ian Drury, like Drury Lane.
No, Drury Lane has got two R's.
Oh, that's Drury Lane. Yeah, okay. Yeah, anyway, I don't know what we're talking about that for. Now,
well, you were telling me a story about Omar Sharif for some reason.
Yeah, I did. I told you about Omar Sharif. Now then, guess how we are going to stop accidents in the winter in future?
I don't know. How are we going to stop accidents in the winter in future?
Well, I drove into these studios, not tonight, but last night.
Isn't tonight the night of the Arctic blast?
I think it is.
Yeah.
But this is all the point
So
of my
check
story.
the temperature, actually.
Point of my story.
Yeah.
I drove in last night, and for the first time, I saw gritting lorries out this winter, okay?
Well, they've been out for ages.
Well, I only saw them last night for the first time.
Yeah, but just because you've only seen them for the first time doesn't mean that's the first time they've been out.
Now, I hate gritting lorries because you get me on a gritting lorry, it starts throwing out all that rock salt.
Yeah, I know, but it's necessary that they do it.
Yeah, but if it bounces off the bonnet of my brand new Mercedes car,
Well,
it might
don't drive so
scratch it.
close to it.
Well, you can't help it sometimes.
No, you can help it.
It bounces up off the road.
You can either overtake them or you stay well back.
Both dangerous manoeuvres.
No.
But anyway, so I'm thinking to myself, is there a better way? So I went and did some research.
Okay.
Guess what?
What is coming on the train?
No. the next roads to be built in this country will almost certainly be heated roads.
Heated roads?
Heated roads.
Yeah.
And we won't need gritters. In 20 years' time, there won't be any gritters, OK?
Right. Well, they won't be able to be heated roads all over the country, though, will they?
Yeah, they will.
You know, I've seen also these plans for roads that they can change the markings on.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of operated by light.
Yes.
And so you can change, for example, a one-way street into a two-way street.
All that kind of stuff,
You can change 20 miles an hour on the road to 50.
Yeah.
You know, you can change the white line in the middle to a solid line.
That's right.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. Have you seen the state of London?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
I mean, they can't even make the roads work now.
No, but new roads will be built with heaters already in them. And
that's never going to happen.
And I tell you something, research has shown that even if you dug up every road in this country and replaced them with under road heating, right?
Yeah.
That would be cheaper than the constant cost of gritter lorries, which we only use for about 5 or 6 nights a year.
Yeah, but we don't have enough gritter lorries because people say we won't invest the money because we only use them so little.
That's right. And the cost of the rock salt and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have heated roads. And the heated roads
and
are
how
quite
much
simple.
is that going to cost?
Billions of pounds. But all you do, you don't have to take the roads up. You don't have to take the roads up. All you do is drill holes in the road.
Yeah, but they still have to shut the road to do it.
Yeah, but you do it at night.
Yeah, well, that's when we come into work.
Yeah, OK, well,
So you find it even more difficult to get in.
But you drill a hole in the road and you just sink an iron bar into it, an iron rod, that's the word I'm looking for. Right. And that just heats up.
Well, you have to put it in horizontally, presumably.
No, you put it in vertically.
You put it in vertically?
You put it in vertically,
Well, how does that work?
Well, it spreads heat from the top of it.
But why wouldn't you want the heat to go more horizontal along the whole road?
Well, because these rods are so designed as to spread heat out. But that's how you do it,
Well,
honestly.
it's how it works in New York, isn't it? No matter how bad the snowfall is in New York City, the roads are always fine because underneath the road system of New York is all the steam pipes which heat all the buildings.
Yes, that's right.
And so there's so much. That's why you see steam coming out the street sometimes.
Coming out of the grills.
And it thaws all the... they don't really need to. I mean, they did grit right at the beginning, but they don't need to.
These plans for the heated roads are being developed at the University of Nebraska, just to...
Well, I think it's all very
highlight your point about America.
Yeah, it's all very well for places that are very well laid out, like some towns like,
Milton Keynes.
Or somewhere in Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, where it's like a massive space and the roads are all very wide. You can never do it in London.
No, you
or
can.
Glasgow.
You can.
Or
They say you can. They say it's very easy to lay electrodes down on the roads, which then heat the road. No. You don't have to dig the roads up. It's almost like, a lorry driving along and it unfolding off the back of the lorry and lying on the top of the road. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but I just don't see it.
No, you can. You can do it. You can do it.
Now, a couple of people have noted that, including Mark, the Boston Tea Party was a song by the sensational Alex Harvey Band.
Oh, was it?
Nothing to do with Ian Jury.
Yeah, well, they sound like Ian Jury.
No, they don't sound anything like Ian Jury.
Ian Jury. They sound like Ian Jury. Yeah, they did.
God's sake. This is Talk Sport.
Tomorrow night from 6, it's a Europa League double, live on Talk Sport. Join Danny Kelly and the team for a Europa League kickoff special. Here, uninterrupted full match commentary of FC Midtjylland versus Manchester United.
That is a world-class finish!
Followed by Augsburg versus Liverpool.
What a goal!
Europa League football, live on Talk Sport.
With Arnold Clark. It's about affordable motoring, it's about you.
It was only one text from that one mate to remind you to meet at that one place that does those great burgers that made you take your eyes off the road for just 1 second and plow into that one cyclist, killing her instantly, destroying her family that one time. You read that one text. One risk is one too many. Think.
Transport for London. Every journey matters.
Whether you're saving up for a big anniversary or a coral reef diving holiday, the money you're putting aside is perfectly safe, protected by the FSCS up to £75,000. Should anything happen to your bank, building society or credit union, it's completely automatic, free of charge, and you'll normally get your money back within 7 days. You'll probably never need us, but it's good to know we're here. Search FSCS Protected to check you're fully covered.
He's got the numbers on the players, the triumphs and defeats. Got the form on the football weekend and the rumors on the streets. Get all the stats and all the facts with his football form report. Stay on the ball on Friday night with Sky Bet and TalkSport.
Get expert soccer speculation on all the weekend's big games. Stay on the ball on Kickoff, the Players Lounge. On TalkSport with Sky Bet, making betting better. Check out the latest price boost now at skybet.com. Gambleware.co.uk.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
Hit me with your wrist.
Porky, it's from Mark, our man who is not a million miles away from naval intelligence, right?
Right.
He says this, once again, you're not listening to me. I told you last week 5 out of 6 Type 45 destroyers are laid up in Portsmouth. So how do you expect them to start blowing up icebergs for penguins when they can't leave Portsmouth Harbour as they are knackered? Also, you must know that the missiles they carry are anti-air missiles and can't be launched against surface objects, and they don't have the range that you keep stating. The radar has the range, not the missile itself. So Mark says what you should do is sack your intelligence sources.
No, send a submarine, I said, and destroy the iceberg from underneath the water with a non-nuclear submarine.
Oh, OK.
Can't you work that one out?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the guy that knows about these things.
Yeah, he says he does.
Yeah, well, he's in the Navy, after all.
Yeah, in the Navy.
Yes.
We can find a torpedo in the Navy.
Yeah, that's a different in the Navy song.
Yeah,
so we've established that tomorrow's Porky Vision, you're going to be talking about Shetland.
Yes.
Although some people have said, well, since you've already talked about it, maybe you should do something else.
Oh, no, I didn't say I was going to talk about Shetland in Porky Vision.
I thought you were.
No. I've got lots more stuff for Porky Vision.
Happy Valley.
Don't worry about that. Well, might be a bit of Happy Valley involved, but no, don't you worry about that. No,
I'm not worried about it.
No.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And then Sir Francis Drake is going to be the subject of the Porky quiz.
A true British hero.
Which is Thursday night. Coming up tonight, of course, what we have is Roma versus Real Madrid, which is live talk sport commentary of the Champions League. Thank you very much indeed. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics.
Look at the light!
Don't forget to follow the Two Mics at the Two Mics on Twitter and on YouTube. Just look for Two Mics TV.
Let's go somewhere brave. To say it was performance. I can't have any more to drink because I have to find the hitman, so I'll show you to the door. So good luck. Bring about and have to send him. That's all he says. What's the most famous thing that ever came out of Denmark?
Well, I know. Hans Christian Andersen.
No, bacon.
Bacon?
Yeah. They were the first people to realise that you could turn a pig into a bacon sandwich.
If you love the Two Mics podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
I like Postman.